Oh, yes, man.
All right, so we're back. Welcome. We are back. Let me add the one Bobby to the live. So thank you guys. We're back for another week of Manifestations. It's been a long week. It seemed like it's been a long week. So many great things that's been happening this week. I went out to the Jazz and Gardens. As you guys know, we're down here in South Florida, so they got Jazz in the Gardens that's going on. I end up going one night to the opening night to B. Lee Entertainments, who does a lot of parties down here. I've been following B. Lee since he first started 10 years ago. I think this year was his 10-year anniversary of doing it. He's been 10 years strong in the game of promoting parties. And let me tell you something, every party that he promotes is pretty much a superb party. It has a great vibe, no problems, no fights, no nothing. It's just a general vibe. And that's pretty dope when you come to when we talk about branding and putting yourself out there. It's always good to have a great brand that people can sit back and say, you know what, your brand is A1. I don't have no problems with it, and keep doing your thing. And to do it for 10 years without any major hiccups or problems like that is phenomenal. So shout out to B. Lee out of Carrot City. You already know how Carrot City has made a lot of pioneers out of here. Um, but definitely shout out to B. Lee for doing such a great event that I attended this Friday at the Hard Rock at the stadium, man. Such a dope vibe. Um, so that's what I did this
Nice.
week. So what you guys fellas did? Yeah, super dope. What y'all did this week?
Oh,
Man, I saw
man,
that
I
movie you bruh. What you say about?
Which one? Creed? You said Creed?
I saw Creed. Oh my God.
Nice.
That
Yes.
lit. Oh man,
excellent,
it was
Yes.
so
excellent.
lit.
Yes. So we
It
definitely
was
have
lit,
to
bro. You
we definitely have to make we could do a segment where we could break that down. We should do like we could do
yeah,
something like probably next week we take a segment out and break that down. Um,
For sure.
we could
It's
definitely do
worth it.
movie
It's worth
breakdowns
it.
as well. If we have a collective movie that we saw, we could
whatever
definitely
you want.
break it down. We'll definitely do that. We can definitely add that in one segment where we could break down stuff. We could do a show like that. Maybe that'll be a show topic in the future that we'll do breakdown. We could do a whole show with just breaking down everything.
Okay.
And that'd be super dope. Yeah, that was dope. So how you felt? You went
But
with your
almost
wife?
show on that movie. It was so
Yes.
much
Did you
in
go
there.
with your wife?
You feel me?
Yes.
I did. I went with my wife. And
Nice.
it was phenomenal, bro. Like it's so many things. So like you said last week when I hadn't seen it still, there's so many gems in there. You feel me? So many life lessons. Mikey B, that's his directorial debut. He showed up and showed out. The other homie, the Mages, he was a beast in that too. Like he was a formidable foe. He knocked his role out the park. The sister, what's her name again? I'm sorry, I always forget her name. The light skinned
His
sister who
Yeah.
played his wife in the movie.
what? Tessa
Yeah.
Thompson.
That's the time. Okay. Yeah,
Tessa
she's dope.
Thompson.
Yes.
She really, really brought it. You know, everybody brought it. It's actually the best of the three Creed films, if I'm being totally honest. I mean, it's the best one. And
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
the other one's good, but this one had just so many life lessons. One thing that really, jumps out at me when I think about it, I like the fact in the end just fun and just enjoying each other. You know what I mean? And just like that was like, you seldom get to see that at the end of black movies. You know what I mean? Like it's always somebody pookied and killed Ray them, whatever the case may be. It was like the storybook
Right.
happy ending, but it's an all black family. It wasn't, no swirling, none of that stuff. There were no agenda. It was just a good story. You know what I mean? Like, you don't never see that in black movies no more. So shout out to Michael B. Jordan for
Sadly.
that. I really
Yeah.
appreciated it. Them life lessons was heavy in that movie. Just the way he interacted with his daughter and his wife and how they had disagreements, but they weren't disagreeable. It humanized black. You show that in movies, but it showed, just black people having conflict and whatever, but not being savages. And even at the end, that moment of redemption, that was the most beautiful part of the whole movie. You know what I'm saying? Because the two brothers who for the whole movie realized, hey man, we don't really hate each other. We just both wanted it, and one of them corrected himself, and he spoke on that. He took accountability. Isn't that what today's show is about? Accountability.
Mm-hmm.
The cat took
Power in that
accountability
angle.
for, how he jumped. Yeah, how he jumped out the window or whatever. It was beautiful, man. It was dope. It was dope as hell. Go ahead, Bob. You were saying.
You
Sorry.
know, I don't
Hold on.
I don't want that to get missed either because that was a very very powerful thing. I'm talking like 10-ton heavy weighty thing you brought up how um Adonis was having issues in his personal life and that led to him having conflict with his wife. But even though they were arguing, though they were fighting, it didn't get disgusting. It didn't get ugly. At no point was the perspective ever lost. There was never a point where it was a
Right.
confusion about what the source is from. At no point did he make her into the enemy. At no point did she really take it personal. She was
Right.
hurt that he wasn't opening up to her and wasn't letting her in because, like she said, she wanted to
Right.
understand him better. But she understood that it wasn't about her, and he understood that she wasn't the enemy.
Mm,
And funny enough, because it was a fighting movie, it was a boxing movie. Um, and that wasn't lost to me during the movie either, but just jumped out at me even harder when you mentioned it. And it took me back to that old Mike Tyson quote where he said, "Everyone that helps you isn't your enemy, and everyone that you fight isn't your everyone that you fight isn't your enemy, and everyone that helps you isn't your friend." It's important to
real
keep
talk.
things in perspective. We having a conflict right now. Yeah, you and me are going at it. We at each other's throats. But what are we doing here, though? You're
Correct.
not my enemy. You're not my problem.
Correct.
There's
Right.
disharmony. We don't get back. This isn't the end. This isn't something where we gotta where it's all or nothing and everything's on the line. And
Right.
even again with and I don't want to take too much away from it because we're gonna chop it up next week. But
Yeah.
Right.
even with Damien, towards the end, after everything was resolved, it wasn't an all or nothing effort. Yes, somebody wanted to fight, but the
Mm,
relationship was still salvaged. We're not permanently each other's. It's not on site next time I see you, or this ain't over. Nah, this still goes on, and I
right.
like that because that definitely shows the power of preserving relationships, both romantic and platonic as well. You get in a fight with your significant other, that doesn't mean it's time to divorce or you sleeping downstairs. I'm at
Right.
my sister's house, whatever. Or you fight with your boy. Now it's not we enemies for life. Nah, we beefing, but when I see you in the streets next time, it's going to be all love. It's important to show that, especially in our
Yeah.
films, that everything doesn't have to end with a body or an ending. We can go
Correct.
beyond this. We can get past this.
Correct.
Highly underrated.
Real
We
talk.
need to see more of that in our films.
Yes, definitely need to see more of that. I'm with agreement with both of you guys. There's so many powerful moments in there, but what I like is the ambiance of the black family, how it never was a breaking point in it. Even when Michael B. Jordan was, having that very heated discussion inside the kitchen, and sometimes as men we have to look back at our significant other, our wives in general, and see if they're trying to gain clarity and understand us. So I think he got a little irritated because he was trying to hide his past from his wife when she was
Yeah.
just trying to figure out what was the real dynamic of what was going on, why this guy had so much animosity for him. And
Yeah.
in the process of doing that, he got kind of irritated and he started raising his voice. And even though, they have a child that is deaf, um, the mother still sat back and said, "Not in front of our daughter." And he looked at his daughter,
Mm,
and that moment was just so priceless that he had respect, and he caught himself in that moment for his wife
yeah.
and daughter. So sometimes you have, a powerful woman can bring you back to perspective real quick, and I think that was such a great thing for him to highlight through the whole series of the movie. His woman, even though she's
Right.
phenomenal, she's dynamic, and I love the fact that he never put his woman, they didn't make her role seem like she was more masculine or the breadwinner of him, even though she
Never
was a
did.
dynamic songwriter. It was always in the
Do.
feminine role of doing for the family, cooking, cleaning, everything like that, and also being for his emotional support. And I thought that was such a great dynamic. And it just proves that we need, like Bobby said, we need more of this. I've always been advocate for um, going out here, providing great films like that that put us in a great light. And the only thing that I don't like is when you talk to other people that look like us, the major thing that they always say is, "Oh, well, you know, that's not real life." No, it is real life. There's a lot of people out here that's living productive, that's not in drama day in, day out. We're not saying that everybody's life is perfect, but trust me, there's people that have more good times than they do bad times. If you're
Yeah.
not
Plenty.
having that in your life, then you need to find that balance. You need to work on yourself, because if every guy you're interacting with is the problem, more than likely you're the problem as well, but you didn't take the accountability to understand your role and why this guy is also getting upset. So even though he
Mhm.
might be a guy that has a lot of bad flaws in character,
Yep.
that has a lot of bad flaws and character traits, you also have some things that might be projecting that to cause what he is projecting back at you. So sometimes you got to
Right.
look at yourself and say, what am I doing wrong in this dynamic? If every guy you running across is the same issue, the problem has to be with you. What are you doing to trigger it? What are you not doing? There's something you're not doing that's triggering the reactions from these guys. And maybe you might not be doing nothing wrong, but guess what? Then another aspect is, why are you
Right.
picking low fruit men? You see what I'm saying? So it's always going to come back to you some form of fashion. So yeah, it was a
Real talk.
very, very powerful movie. I'm glad you guys brought
Uh,
that up because I loved it.
Something else I want to touch on real quick, and I want to drop this. I hope I'm not setting off a whole chain reaction, but and I'm saying this because I had an interesting conversation on a couple of people's posts regarding this issue. Um, but the important thing to understand here is that even though it was causing conflict in the home, the reality is the issues and problems that Adonis Creed was having, it wasn't involving with his wife. In fact, it predated his whole family. This was something that happened started from way back when he was a kid up until the present moment where Damien came back in the situation.
Yeah.
But because he didn't handle business, he didn't make peace with his past. He tried to, like he said in his own words, he tried to bury it and move past it. And Damien coming back in the picture was causing all that stuff to unearth and come back out.
Yes.
The reality is, it was causing issues
Right.
for him in his present. It was causing chaos and disorder, not just in his home, but it was
Yes.
causing problems in his businesses. It was
Mm-hmm.
upsetting his issue with the gym, with his partners, the people that's working with him. Anybody and everything that was associated with
Yeah.
him was feeling the heat from these unresolved issues.
Correct.
His wife, God bless, she's trying to be there, she's trying to be in the trenches for him. But the reality is, she didn't need him to share what was going on in his past with her.
Mm-hmm.
His partners at the gym, they didn't need him to share what was going on in his chest and his past with them. They just need him to talk. Fellas, it is important to take our mental health seriously.
Mm-hmm.
We can't just leave it up to finding outside outlets. Those have their uses. You can go to the gym and work it out. You can write music, you can write poetry, you can play sports or whatever. It's good to have healthy outlets, but there's certain things that you got to do certain things for. If you break your arm, you can't just say, "Well, I'm going to treat it by putting some Neosporin on it." You can't say, "Well, I'm just going to go and soak it in some Epsom salt overnight." Nah, or I'm gonna just pop some aspirin. Some of these things might help a little bit, but at the end of the day, the fix is the fix. There's some things that you got to go and see a therapist about.
Yes.
Now, I know a lot of us have issues with being vulnerable, and that's been a hot buzzword over the last several years about male vulnerability, male vulnerability, male vulnerability. The
Yeah.
truth is, when it comes to being vulnerable, because we do need to be vulnerable, we're human
Yeah.
beings. This isn't a gender thing. We need to be vulnerable. You
Correct.
need to be vulnerable as men. We understand the risks that come with that and the touchiness of that. Go see a therapist, man. You can't go and turn your lady into your therapist. And this is going to be a little controversial. I know some women are going to be feeling this, but the reality is, all that you can do with your woman is vent to her.
Yep.
Even if you share what's on your chest, what's on your heart, all you can do is vent to her. But that's not necessarily going to be a fix. That's going to get it out in the open. That's a good first step, but there's no resolution. She can't do nothing for that. And part of the reason why sometimes we vent to our women, and later on down the line there's an argument or something pops up and that comes out and it's used against you. The problem is
Mm.
that shit gets put in her spirit, but she can't do nothing with it. It's just sitting right there by the exit. And as soon as the exit opens, the first thing that's gonna come out, it's like a toilet. You flush the toilet, what's gonna come out? The shit that's in it. It ain't got nowhere to go. It's right there. You go to a therapist. This is a person who has tools, resources to not only be a source for you to vent, but they can give you tools on how to understand what you've been through, make sense out of it, but most importantly of all, give you tools and come up with a plan for you to go forward and really put this thing to bed. All right.
Yeah.
Even if the lady is a therapist, even that's what she does for a living, she's still too close. You see all the time when you have a legal case or you have a criminal case that's going on, if there's a lawyer, if there's a law enforcement officer that's directly involved in the case, what do?
Yeah.
They pull them off. They say you're too
Yeah.
close to it. You're not gonna be able
Right.
to think objectively. Conflict of interest. We don't want you to do or say anything that's gonna mess this up. Just sit back, sit this one out. Even if she has the tools, because she's your lady, she's too close to you.
Mm.
Go and see someone that can do something for your issues, so you don't end up doing what Adonis did and end up blowing out spaz on your significant other, hurting
Mm.
your child, your business relationships are taking a hit because of it. You don't have to talk to the people in your life, but find somebody who you can go see who's not too close to the situation, who has tools and resources that can help you. We gotta take this stuff seriously, man. We need to try and put this stuff to bed. This has to be something
Yep.
Well
that
said.
doesn't isn't allowed to occur in the future.
Well said.
Definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I mean that's a great point you put on, because I think a lot of times people don't understand the significance of it, and like even with systemic racism really is a mind thing, right? So they attack the mind, and what they say, when you grasp the mind, you control the mind, the body follows. So it's very important that our minds be on the right track, and we need to do what we need to do to make sure that we're out here in a good, stable, right mind. It's always good to have great people around you to make you hold you accountable, and also just to put you back in reality in a check to say, hey, you know what, you was just drifting for a second. Bring you back to reality so you can go ahead and strengthen yourself up so you can make these power moves. So it's very important that we surround ourselves with positive people. To sometimes we don't even realize that we're mentally slipping, and then somebody will come out and be like, yo, you all right? You straight? You good? And then you'd be like, oh, shoot, you know what? I didn't even realize, man. Back that up. I appreciate that. So it's always good to have somebody beside you that keeps you in check and in that realm. So with that being said, I did want to bring this up, right? So we're talking about Michael B.
Mm.
Jordan, and a brother had this to say. So he says, when a woman has when a man has his together for most of it, it's a double-edged sword to many women. Why? It's pressure for her to meet or complement that level of togetherness. It's a big trigger to the party if her life she knows needs more order to be a better woman. So what happened is her ego will provide her with some deflective issue to help her defend herself from that painful world inside of or it will direct her to a man that has more disruptions than she can feel the moral superior to. It's a deep dynamic to the play. And this fella had put that caption up because he read what this woman said, which was Michael B. Jordan is cute, but doesn't have any edge. He just looked, I don't know, responsible. He looked like he know where his birth certificate is at. And I thought that was very very telltale, that a lot of times, when we talk about women, and women always come out here and they talk about they want to line up themselves up with a guy of great dynamics.
Mm.
You have women like that that will say stuff like that, and she does not. Most people would be like, oh, she represents the low percentage of women, but no, there's
Mm.
pretty good percentage of women that think like that. It's
Yeah.
always been like that with growing up. where we always had the bad boy image. Like the bad boy image was always caressed and worshiped amongst a lot of women. And a lot of times that's where a lot of women make their faults and mistakes at a very young age and then want to correct it later on in life. And that mistake that you stumble on in an early age can affect you in a negative way where you might not get the life you want to live because of those mistakes you made earlier, those choices you made earlier, not holding yourself accountable for your choices that end up being your
Mm.
future long down the line. There's a lot of women that wish that they didn't, they love their children, but they wish that they didn't have that child as a father, that man as a father of their child, because that guy never was the person that assisted or loved, put the love in the togetherness like we've seen in the movie to go ahead and help them to have a child, to lead them to a successful place for that child to be successful in society. So we see that happen a lot of times where a lot of these women end up making the wrong choices and then have to live a struggle life for a long time. And then in the process of that, the child comes in, is imbalanced. So when the child is imbalanced, now that child is going to go through life just doing whatever that child wants, because it's very hard for, I tell people all the time, it's very hard for a mother to be a nurturer and a discipliner at the same time. It's This is why the two household system is so effective, because the mother is going to always be the nurturer, the feminine dynamic in that household, and the father is going to be the provider, the protector, and the discipliner in that
Right.
dynamic duo. So it's hard for somebody to that comes with a nurturing stance to come and beat a child, and then have to come right behind and nurture that child and comfort that child. So the mixed message from that child is, I'll take the beating because I know mom's going to cook my favorite food or come with some hot cocoa to butter me up on right afterwards. So it's not a long term effect that goes in your head to say, you know what, I don't want to do that because I'm gonna get this beaten. You're gonna be like, yeah, I'll take the beating. Go ahead and cook me up some fried rice or something that I like. Because most women,
Yeah.
I've watched that they do that. But when it comes with the father, and we always go back to the earlier days where the father would, the mother would find out that this child was being very bad, and then, the first thing they say is, wait till your father gets home. And now the
Mm.
whole time, your father could be coming home at 5. Your mother said this to you at 1. The whole time you thinking like, damn, boy, oh, shoot, I don't know, man, I don't feel like dealing with my dad, man. And you're terrified because you know
Yep.
that now your dad's going to be set off, because most fathers worked back then 12, 16-hour shifts. They didn't want to come home to no nonsense. This is where men come in and say they
Right.
always want peace. When you come home, the first thing you want is peace. They don't want no yapping in their ears. They don't want nothing. They want to come home, have a good meal, bathe themselves, watch a little TV, and go to sleep. That was the whole process of it, because they're bringing home the bacon. They're doing the rough work outside of the household. So when the father comes
Yep.
home, he's like, man, I got to deal with this crap. So now your whippings are 10 times worse, because he want to make sure that he don't keep coming home to this stuff. So he's gonna
Yeah.
tag you up, and mom's gonna come in there and say, hey, I don't want to see you go through this again. Make sure you do all the corrective behavior so your dad does not hit you. And that's a great dynamic, because now you're understanding where your mom's coming from, and now you see where your dad's coming from. So you get the vantage point of what, like I said, accountability. You're getting the accountability from different vantage points. So
Mm.
that enables a child to be more successful, because now the child is like, man, this ain't got nothing to do with my mom's. Man, this is all about my dad, and my dad don't play the radio. So if my dad don't play the radio, I'm gonna go out here and do what I need to do. Now, when you have the single mother in that dynamic, you don't get that total uh, control like that. There
Mm.
are we're not saying it doesn't work, but there are anomaly cases that you can sit back. I know many women that say, "Oh, my child does good, and I'm a single mother." Yes, we get it, but that's not statistically. Statistically, single family houses produce more criminals. Statistically, dual family houses produce more successful people. Statistic. We're not talking about anomaly in your personal experience or Ray Ray or Buquisha experiences. We're talking about statistic versus everything else. So statistically, that's where we are better aligned and more successful. And there's a reason why they want single households and creating division and elevating certain genders in the household to create that because they profit off of it on the back end. So this is why we created manifestations so we can get our minds together, we can get on the same accord, and we function as a full-fledged household. And that's what I love about it. I'll give it to you guys to take away.
Real talk.
You know,
Real
that's a
talk,
fact.
man. Listen, that that post was real triggering for a lot of people because a lot of people they subscribe to that type of stupidity, or they know someone who subscribes to that type of stupidity. You know what I mean? What's up, Sister Mila Renee? We see you.
What's going on, sis?
So yeah, it's really it was very triggering to a lot of people, and we got to be very mindful of who comes on these types of posts and says what. You know what I mean? You
Mm,
can tell a lot
yeah.
by a person's reaction, and this, to their credit, most of the sisters was on her ass because they didn't see this level of stupidity out here in their comrades, and it ultimately ends them up in that position,
Correct.
where you have no man in the household because you chose so poorly. You chose so
Yes.
poorly, as you said, and you chose early. And so, okay, you chose poorly, you chose early, you end up getting pregnant, or whatever the case may be, and now, you're in your late 20s, early 30s, sometimes your 40s, you've been through all this hell. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Because,
Mm,
I just want to talk about the meat and potatoes of what she said in that stupid ass post. You know what I'm
yes.
saying? Like the he seems like this person is attractive to me. He's cute and all,
Yes.
but he doesn't have any edge. Translation. I want, for most females, or for a lot of females, translation, I
Mm,
want a guy who's an asshole, right? A
correct.
lot of these younger women, it's, I understand, okay, having an edge, but when you start to look at the dynamics of the type of person
Yes.
that they feel like has an edge, a lot of time it's the drug dealer. A lot of
Correct.
True.
time it's the drug user. A lot of
Correct.
time, it's a lot of these cats that have these characteristics of a low life. That's somebody with a quote unquote edge to them, right?
Correct.
And I know a sister right now, she was in a car with a brother, you know, a ride home from someplace. Boom, car got stopped. Guess what was in the trunk? Now she got a felony. This
Mm,
go straight and narrow, clean. You understand what I'm saying? Good, decent young
yes.
girl, but she has a felony and she has problems finding adequate work. You understand what I'm saying? And so forth and so on. Because of that, it's going to likely affect her for the rest of her life, as it has now. She has a kid. You know what I mean?
Wow.
It's like
Yes.
you can see that this type of thinking, yes, this is a young girl I used to know when I used to rap. She used to come out and support, come to all my shows, come to all my events, whatever. Nice young lady. And
Hmm.
simple ride home from the club in the wrong car got her felony. You understand?
Wow.
So if people think it's funny and
But he
they
had an
take
edge,
it.
though. But he had an
Sister we
edge.
know she was
So,
uh,
What
he
you say
had
about?
edge, right? You see what I'm
don't say,
saying?
say,
A sister
but he had an edge,
even
though.
said,
So it's okay because he had an
Yeah.
right, everything's okay because he has an edge, right? The sister we know said, "Oh,
edge.
she
Can't
was
make this
probably
stuff up.
kidding," and huh? And what happened?
No, he was saying it.
Yeah, he
No,
was
He
I said
was
you
saying
saying
can't
it.
make this stuff up.
that she was
Yeah, you can't make it up.
you can't make yourself up. And it's like, I don't think she's kidding. And even if she was kidding, that's still bad. You know what I'm saying? Because this comment went viral The Truth Hurts, she came in and she got a little bit of the action. She lit her ass up. You know what I'm saying? Let her know how she sounds. And a lot of other people letting her know how ignorant she sounds. And I'm glad that she went viral. A lot of people, to Sister's point, a lot of people do say things in jest. You understand what I'm saying online, and think that nobody's
No.
going to pick it up and run with it. Nobody's going to check them. You know what I'm saying? You don't
Mhm.
know how people are going to take what you say unnecessarily. But I mean, she didn't seem like she was kidding from the way she was defending that shit. I mean, she was going in. And it's just a statement about nothing. It's so low energy and so breathtakingly ignorant for somebody to
Yeah.
come out and say something like that. Her next sentence was, "He just looks, I don't know, responsible." So that's a diss now. That's
Hey, I
and
mean, look, see,
look
I hate
responsible.
when that happens.
You understand what
Oh
I'm saying?
gosh. Yeah.
Is a be is you know what I'm saying? Is a bad thing. That's thing to be looked down upon. Looking
Yeah.
responsible. He looked like he know where his birth certificate. Not to be fair to him. None of it's funny
Yeah.
because the black family right now and black relationships as we know them are in a state of. So when I see
Yes.
people running out here acting stupid and talking stupid, I so just let shit go. But I get very these are the people, the turds in the punch bowl, bruh. You understand what I'm saying? People like that,
Yeah.
people with that level of ignorance are the ones that spoil it for everybody else. There are intelligent sisters out here. I got into it with a brother this week, for trying to talk down on sisters or whatever. And, you know, it's people like this that cause a lot of men, not saying that it's right, but cause a lot of men to not take sisters seriously when they're speaking intellectually. You understand what I'm
Correct.
saying? Because they say foolish shit like this and they put it out there. And then what bothers me the most is how many other people retweeted that and
Yeah.
reposted that and you know what I'm and not
Yeah.
getting on her like we were, but in support of it. You understand
Yeah.
what I'm saying? At some point,
Correct.
you really got to hold people accountable as well, because if you're not pushing back against it, you're part of the problem. And I'm ready to
Yeah.
start taking aim at more people who are not being responsible because, like we said today on our show, accountability is the order of the day. You
Correct.
can do all the shit you want to do to try to add what the problems are and make them appear not so bad. But if you're not actually addressing the problem, you ain't doing shit.
Exactly.
That's the long and short of it for me. Yeah, Bob. I know you
Ultra fan.
that.
Nah, first and foremost, it wasn't a joke. And I hate this, and this goes back to something that I've been talking about for a long time now. And it goes back to once again that presumption of female innocence and virtue, where no matter what, women are just given the benefit of the doubt for no valid reason. There's no reason whatsoever for anyone to just give her the benefit of the doubt as if she's earned that.
Right.
Yeah.
She said that put it out there. What now? Maybe if she was like a stand-up comedian or something like that, or she
Yeah.
was a known person that puts funny videos, maybe you could put that out there and say she's joking. If
Mm,
you say, well, look at her other content, she posts a lot of jokes. Maybe you can go that route.
mm,
But pretty much assuming
yeah.
everybody is getting their first exposure to this woman, whoever she is, based off this tweet, there's nothing to indicate that she was joking any more than if she put up a post saying, I enjoy watching CNN when I wake up in the mornings.
Mm.
You wouldn't assume that was a joke. Why would you assume that this is a joke? But because she's a woman, and because when you look at what the post actually says, it's not very flattering. Well, she didn't mean it like that. It was just a joke. No. If a dude makes a post saying he refused to date any woman that's underneath an 8 or something, no one's going to say, oh, he's just joking. He didn't mean that. No.
Yeah.
Dudes don't
Right.
get that level, that kind of benefit
Right.
of the doubt. And
No.
to be honest, nobody should get it. And
Mm.
even if she was joking,
Mm,
all the people who
agreed.
shared it, they weren't. And that's why I don't go along with the narrative that people like to put out that, social media is just social media. You can't take it seriously. That's not true. You can tell a lot about people by what they put on social
Not at
media
all.
because social media, even though a lot of people tend to attach their real names and information to it and everything else,
Hmm.
for a lot of people, social media is that answer where they say, if you could say or do whatever anonymously and no one knew it was you, what would you say? People are putting out
Mm.
what they really think.
Exactly.
And even if they think it's funny, the fact that
Yes.
they even find shit to put out there says something. If someone goes out and all they do is make rape
Mm-hmm.
jokes on social, they just make jokes about rape and sexual assault, and they
Right.
turn and say, "No, I'm just joking." No, this social media, don't take it seriously. Even if
Yeah.
you're joking, something
Yeah.
inside you thought that this was okay to say or to joke about. Maybe you might never do it in real life ever, but
Yep.
something is wrong upstairs. If you see
Mm.
fit to put this out there, what's inside you is going to come out.
Yep.
There's certain things that I know you brothers would never say or joke about or take lightly and put on social media because that's not in you.
Correct.
There's some things that y'all will joke and laugh
Integrity.
about because we're not 24/7. But there's some
Correct.
things that it ain't a laughing matter. There's some stuff that comes across your timelines, and the minute you see it, you having a good day, and all of a sudden it ain't funny no more. Good
Correct.
good day's over.
Ain't funny. Exactly.
So the fact that
Exactly.
people are seeing fit to put this out there and retweet and share it means that something about that is resonating with them. And words
Exactly.
mean something. She said
Mm-hmm.
he's cute and all, but words are tools. Word means something. The word but it's a U-turn. It's a
Yeah.
180-degree turn. But mean
Right.
is a word that is used to go back against whatever was said before. So they said Michael B. Jordan is cute. That's a
Mm-hmm.
good thing. That's a positive. Yes. But
Positive. Yeah.
Yes.
that means anything that comes out the word but is supposed to negate what came after it before. He's cute,
Yeah.
but he looks
Right.
responsible.
Yeah. It's kind of
If
like
cute,
it's an interjection of like kind of
right.
a backhanded compliment, right? So the butt
Exactly.
comes
So
in.
if
Right.
cute is a good thing,
Yeah.
if you understand that cute is a good thing because no one wants to look ugly, if cute or being attractive is a good thing, and you say a but after it,
Right.
then that means whatever you talk about afterwards is the opposite. So responsible does not mean in her eyes that it's a good thing. Especially when
Yes.
she follows up and says he
Yes.
doesn't have looks like he doesn't have an edge.
Correct.
She wants to date
Yeah.
somebody from
Right.
Power or somebody from BMF or Snowfall. That's what she likes. And like you said,
This
when she gets
Mm-hmm.
jammed up or something, now all of a sudden she wishes she had Mr. Responsible.
So today's show, great point, Bobby. Great point, because it lines up with what the video that I'm about to show you guys. Because, like I said,
Yeah.
tonight's show is about accountability, but tonight's show is a little different
Yeah.
because we're showing accountability from different vantage points. And what I mean by different vantage points is the way you look at accountability, the way you see it from different people, different angles. So when we
Mm.
say something like this girl had just wrote, we have a video here that will show you that from the accountability side. So this is pretty much
I like hood niggas that hold a gun like Jada. What you talking about?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
What's your type? What type of guys you like?
so you got a chick that says she likes hood dudes that hold a gun like this. So from that vantage point, this is
Oh.
what we see women, they talk like that all the time. You know what I'm saying? He's asking you what type of guy you like. You didn't say, I like an intellectual guy, I like a guy who keeps himself up, nice and neat, presentable, someone that has intellectual
Mm.
conversation because I'm a sapiosexual. You didn't say none of that. You just
Right.
said, I like a hood nigga that hold a gun like that. Shows you the level of ignorance that comes out. So the accountability from
Yeah.
her
Yeah.
angle as a young girl is going to lead to the accountability of the video I'm about to show you now, which is the angle when she gets older, all her decisions are going to lead up to what I'm about to show you now. Now you're about to see the accountability from the grown
This is
angle.
something that every mother needs to teach their daughter about a man. All right. Love yourself. Have respect for yourself. You understand me? Just by you having a baby by a man doesn't make a man stay with you. Understand? Wait until you married.
I know that.
How you know?
Cause ain't no man here. Look at all these kids.
So she says, her daughter says, I know, because ain't no man here. And you got all these kids here. So the accountability, like I say, comes from that vantage point. Is like you're seeing that the child is now
Oh,
seeing your choices
oh,
as a person from your younger days into a grown lady. Now that child sees it and they know that
mhm.
they understand it because they see what's happening and it's nothing productive. That's why I always tell people, if you're an adult and you have children or you're a mentor or your uncle or auntie, you always got to lead by example because children watch. You know what I'm saying? You can't
Yeah,
tell a child what to do, or you can't really tell a child this is what needs to be done. You show a child has more impact and influence on the child than you telling them. Because if you telling a child to go out here and stack their money up and make sure that they have a nice amount of money in the bank account, and you broke as hell, your child know you broke as hell, you living paycheck to paycheck,
yeah,
then how you think your child gonna sit back? Your child not gonna listen to you because you ain't even taking your advice and applying it to yourself. So it's very important that when
so
you go out here and show yourself in any kind of light, that you're leading by example. Because at the end of the day, like I say, people are watching. They're watching you. They're watching what you say and do. And that's why a lot of people don't have respect for certain people, because they understand, like, you say that, but then you're not doing that. There's a lot of cap on social media when it comes to stuff like that. People have a big talk, but you meet them in real life and they ain't living nowhere near what they talking on social media. So the
not even
accountability
close.
from those vantage points catches up to you in the long run.
Yes, it does.
You
Yes, it
know,
does.
it's
Brother,
it's like
that
for the
video.
second straight week, I'm gonna get some harder in this bottle, man, because it's once again these kids coming with these shotgun shells, man. They don't know what it is to
Oh
hold a punch, bro. They just go 100% every time. God dang. But
man,
but I give her, at least the sister, I will give her props for being honest and not lying, because you will have a lot of people who will say, oh, who will come up with a cap talk about, oh, I like this, that, and the third. But again, when you take a look at the resume, we don't see that nowhere here. You talk about you work for Microsoft, you work for Apple, and all this. And I look at your resume, I just see McDonald's, I see Publix, and I see
Yeah,
Popeyes. Your resume ain't stacking up with what you out here talking about. And that's
correct.
right.
okay. That's what I mean. If that's what it is, that's fine. Because the truth is, and this is going to be a painful thing to say, but it is what it is. Water finds its own level.
Hmm,
I'm gonna say it again. Water finds its own level.
correct.
You can talk about how you deserve
Yeah,
such and such all the live long day. Oh, I deserve this. I'm not settling for that. A lot of people bump into roadblocks, and because they don't practice accountability, they don't look at themselves first and check and see, all right, am I in a position, am I in a place where I can afford to call these kind of audibles and really demand what I'm asking for? You say you want this, that, and the third, but nothing about you
mm,
indicates that you deserve this kind of person, or that you would even know what to do with them if you got them.
Correct.
And there's been a lot of people out there who have lucked up. They have missed and gotten someone that is out of their league. That's right. There are people who are out of your league. I know that's a shocker. I know that's going to punch somebody
yeah,
right in the ego, uppercut right to the jewels. But some people out of your
mm,
league, they mess around. They get someone who's out of the league, and then what do? They drop the ball. They self
yeah,
sabotage. They spoil the relationship, and they prove exactly why they had no business getting with that person in the first place. And unfortunately, in some instances, they end up damaging that person. So they either have to go on the shelf for a little while and repair themselves, or they go back out the dating market damaged and they pass on that hurt to other people.
Correct.
So you got a lot of people right
mm,
there who are decent people, but they out here hurting and causing problems because of some idiot who came and did damage to them. And they didn't take the time to heal first.
yeah,
So, if that's your lane, if if Walmartavius, if Crimetrius, if Pookie and them, if that's what your level is, that's your level.
Yeah.
Own it. If you want better, Do the self work, do the difficult thing, and make yourself a person
Real
who
talk.
deserves above that. Just saying, I deserve it because XYZ, blah, 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 the grass is green, the sky is blue. That's not going to cut it.
No.
And that's for men and for women.
Correct.
Whatever you say your type is, you need to become your type's type, or you need to learn to like what your type is. Learn to shop at the stores you can afford. If you want to buy better, get you better income, so to speak.
Mm, correct.
Yeah,
So yeah, so we,
agreed.
you know,
Uh,
it it
that's so spot on, brother.
yeah. So yeah, so like with that being
Go
said,
ahead. Can you hear me?
we had like another incident that popped up with Major in reference to, you know, people capping, right? And we could see that this brother was capping because the stuff he was capping about or getting mad about didn't make sense what he should have gotten mad about. And we're about to show you exactly what it is. Um,
Mm.
so a sister that posted up in the group, she posted up this. She was like, this meme that says Ryan Coogler says he wouldn't be successful without his wife. When he was broke, she bought him his first software to write movies on. They just signed a multi-million dollar deal with Disney. So, the sister was, she has her arms up like, yo, that's strength. That's what you do. You rock with your dude. If you see something that your dude needs, you go out there and you get it for him. It's your dude. This is who you rock with. You know what I'm saying? And because you did
Right.
it, now look where it led to. It led to a multi-million dollar deal with Disney making millions of dollars because you had the intuition and you had the sincerity to say, you know what, this is something that I definitely want to do. Um, and I think it's best if we get it done throughout, together. And that's something that's so positive. You know what I mean? And I love it for the simple fact that we have sisters out here that understand the necessity of men and women being together and showing unity and showing how
Yeah.
when we provide for each other, we got each other's back, that it leads to a prosperous land that the end goal is where we want to be. And that's dope. So now with the multi
Yeah.
millions that he got, he can put it back into her and explore her dream and fund her dream.
Yeah.
So I thought it was super,
Yes.
super dope. And then you had this character. So I want to show you guys what this guy looks like. So you had this character.
Mm.
This is the guy who Major had to ball up and throw in the trash can real quick. And so he wrote this, and that's the only picture he has up because it tells you a lot about a person who only has a car up, a basic car with some rims, and then has his profile like that. So he says,
Mm.
nah, bro, we need to stop giving these simple women such accolades. If I buy you a basketball bit, you were already a baller. That's not life changing. That's simply a nice gesture. The script writer didn't make him a good writer. He was a good writer who got a script writer. And so shout out to my homegirl. I know this girl, Antonia. She asked the dude, well, what do you mean by simple women? And then Major, you had wrote Callie West, how are you making the assessment that she is a simple woman based on what? Her husband said she is solid and a great help. Why assessment? Why his assessment? Don't believe what he says about his own wife. What you talking about, man? And then the original, I think that was the original writer. She said, Callie West, out of curiosity, what exactly is a simple woman? From your perspective, seems if a sister should have just left old boy high and dry, then she would have been everything negative under the sun. And then another sister said, man, Cole, you stupid in her Martin voice. And then he comes back and says, do you truly believe that she knew what type of writing program that he needed? Or did she hear him what mentioned a need or a want, or she simply bought what he was striving to buy. As a husband, what should she say? She's just arm candy who bought me a software I could have bought myself if I wasn't spending time and money on dates to be with this woman. Time and time again, black men will put black women on a pedestal just to curry a favor with her and other black women. And I just thought that
Mm,
was so
mm.
silly to me that a guy like that would write something um, so silly like that. I'll let you go ahead, Major, and elaborate more on that because you put the dude in the trash can. Um, there's other there's other scriptures to it, but I'm not gonna post that up because I'm gonna let Major right here
Yeah.
tell you how he put him up in the trash can.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, a post like that is supposed to be a slam dunk. Everybody should agree on that. Everybody, black, everybody that believes in black love, everybody that feels like, hey, we want to come together and build, especially this sister's looking out for her man, whatever the case may be. When he didn't have it, she was like, hey, I got you. She held him down. And then he took it. When he got it, he wasn't able to get it for himself. He said this. When he got it, he took it and he built something phenomenal. Now,
Correct.
when you build something phenomenal after someone has given to you when you didn't have it, what do? You go back to that person and you make sure that they're good now. Especially as a
Mm,
man, this is your woman, this is your wife. I'm not his wife at that time, but this is someone you're working to make your wife, and you should always be in a relationship working towards making this person your wife, right? You know what I'm saying? So there was nothing to bitch about. You
yeah.
understand what I'm saying? There was nothing to bitch about. The dude, I mean, unless you just have a problem with black women, generally speaking, there's nothing to
Yeah.
bitch about. This is a black woman. She wasn't being a gold digger and out for this guy for what he had. She wasn't using him. She wasn't cheating on him. She wasn't
at
mistreating
all.
him. She was literally doing everything right.
Hmm.
And this clown still found a way to crowbar some shit about, oh well, black men hold black women in too high of esteem, and he starts talking some other dumbass baby mama bullshit that had
Yeah.
nothing to do with anything that we were discussing. This woman's not a baby mama; she's his wife. So all you people out there that hate black women that are single mothers, you don't have an argument in this particular instance either, but you're still using those tired talking points to make this point that doesn't exist in this argument about nothing. Brothers, we got to get off that dumb shit. We got to stop listening to dumb niggas like this. You understand what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I mean, some people, and I got them together and I just kind of let them know, like, first of all, you're assuming. I didn't like the fact that he came on, he was saying to one of the sisters, oh, you have a simple mind and this and that. And all the sister did was ask him a question. And my thing is this: I told him, look, I'm all for insulting people. You know what I'm saying? It right before I insulted his ass a few times. I'm all for insulting people, but when it's warranted, somebody asks you a simple question and your response, well, your simple mind can't understand this. You're showing me that you don't have a real argument. You're showing
Hmm.
me that you're not intellectually sound. A lot of these people, they just get on these little platforms and they just recite talking points that they hear other people say that they don't put any thought into.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? We need to get these type of niggas up out the paint. This is not productive for black society whatsoever.
Expeditiously.
You come on the post, it's a very positive post. Expeditiously, yeah, it's a very positive post. Everybody's vibing, everybody's on the post, everybody's liking it, whatever. And here you come with this nonsense. We just talking utter nonsense,
Hmm.
and that really, really, really bothers me because we need to give sisters that are doing the right thing their credit. We absolutely need to do that. But if you look at some of his other posts, you see he's like one of these bed bucks. You know what I'm saying? It's always pedestalizing white women and women of other races and putting sisters down.
Hmm.
You
Oh
understand what
yeah,
I'm
I see
saying?
it.
You wouldn't have said
those,
nothing if the man's wife
you
was pale as the driven snow.
Mm.
I'm just saying, you feel me? Like that's the type of shit we have to get away from because
Yeah.
hey, he and I said something to him about black love, and how I believe in black love, and he's like, I'll bet you don't even have a black significant other. You over here touting black love, this, that. Dude, what are you talking about? My wife is black. My wife is gorgeous. My wife is a dope
Yes, again,
human
mother
being.
sucker.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying. He's just saying all the wrong things, and he's making all these inferences, and it's like when you're at that point where you detest black women so much. I said to him, you're talking about you're scoffing at black love. Well, how do you explain how your black ass got here? You understand? If
Mm.
it weren't for black love, I am assuming that your mother wasn't a piece of shit like you keep saying all these black women are. I'm assuming that your mother was at least, you know, 3/4 of a human being. You know what I'm saying? Like because the way you talking about her, you're talking about like black women are some kind of animal. Like at least do you at least agree with the white supremacists on your mother? You understand what I'm saying? That's what
Yeah.
I'm asking them. I had to really dig in there and get in them. But at the end of the day, we need to give sisters that are doing the right thing their praise. That's why we do the crown check every
Right.
week. That's why anybody that says something about we hate women or we have something against women, no, it's nonsense. We have a lot against ignorance
Exactly.
and people who are not productive members of black society and people who are further damaging the social fabric that holds us together as black people. We have serious problems with those, and a lot of them happen to be female. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
We go in on men all the time. Nobody says anything, right? When we go in on the men,
Mm.
when was the last time we went on the men? You made a post this week talking about Drake or whatever the case may be. You going in on him a little bit, and I made sure I came in on that post. Oh man,
Mm.
yeah, that's true what you said, but had he made this post about Lori Harvey, everybody would be having their titties in a knot. You know what I'm saying? We can't play these type of games where you know we we have two sets of rules depending on what gender you are. That's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of sisters
Selective
out there
outrage.
do that. But we go out of
Yes.
our way to uphold and praise the sisters that are just doing what they're supposed to do. The sisters that
Yeah.
hold us down, the sisters that are there, we go out of our way to praise them.
Yeah.
What we talked about a little while ago when we talk about the woman she's going to later on in life be this person because of the choices that she's making now. I was
Mm-hmm.
talking
Right.
to a sister just earlier today, and I was explaining to her, how that works and how the lack of accountability is so strong, and how we created the hashtag always an excuse just for that reason. Because no matter what a female does, there is always, always, always an excuse for it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It just don't make no damn sense. We
Yeah.
can't make any progress as men and women if only one side is willing to say, hey, yo, we got some things we need to work on. We need to come to the table. We need to fix them. And the other side is making up
Right.
excuses all the time and acting stupid like they don't know what's going on.
Correct.
How we get anywhere like that? You understand what I'm saying? So that's
Yeah.
at the end of the day, yeah, I had to light his ass up, and a lot of it was because he was disrespecting the sisters that came on the thread asking him questions, but most of it was just because of his knee-jerk reaction to sisters. Oh, this is a low-level woman. This just some basic chick, whatever the case may be. And we're like, okay, well, how are you getting this information? She's a basic chick. How are you getting the information? She didn't know what software he needed. He was one of these people. He's making all these arguments banging on single mothers and banging on older, black women and their general idea where they say silly things or whatever the case be. In the same process, he's doing the exact same thing that he's accusing those women of doing. He's making up arguments on things that we're not even talking about. Using
Mm-hmm.
you're just caping for black women and whatever. He's doing the exact same thing. So,
Correct.
it is a serious mental case. You know, series.
Yeah.
I'm just personally bothered he's gotten as
I
much
mean,
attention
like,
as he
I'm
had. That just
just gonna prove the entire.
that chest line.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
get it at all. You know what I'm saying? He has nothing constructive to contribute to the dating and relationship conversation in the community. Period.
Correct.
Go ahead, Aunt. You hear me? Yeah.
Nah, you're right. We hold people accountable, all people accountable, men and women. We hold them accountable.
Mm,
Um, what I'm about to bring
yeah.
up now is holding a man accountable for his actions and his role. We can talk about what kind of women that are honest enough to tell you what kind of man they want out here, a reckless man, a man that doesn't do anything. And a lot of these guys will
Mm,
see that and they'll say, okay, that's cool. Let me go over there and get a little quick piece of ass, you know what I'm saying? And you end up getting the
mm-hmm.
girl pregnant. Now you mad and what
Yeah.
I don't like is that everybody gets on social media or they'll get on Maury and all these Jenny Jones and all these shows, right? And they get this girl pregnant that they regret getting pregnant and end up having a child
Uh,
with. Now you don't want the child anymore. You disown the child. And now you get up there on
mm,
national platforms and start talking vile mess at the woman. And y'all thinking that, and this is a learning lesson for you guys. You got to understand
yeah.
that anybody you deal with, when you're sitting back talking about them in a negative way, and in that type of vitriol way that you're talking about this woman, it only
Mm-hmm.
reflects back to you. It boomerangs to say, what kind of man are you to be sitting here dealing with that
You
woman?
chose them.
And so many times y'all go up there and say, oh, she was a hoe. She was a hoe. She was sleeping with everybody in the neighborhood. That let me know that you didn't even have in your pride in your body any sense to protect yourself because you knew that information prior to sleeping with that woman, yet you went and dived in her, not with a condom on, but you went in there raw, knowing that she was promiscuous. And this is why we have a lot of diseases that get passed around because
Yeah.
we have guys that just
Mm-hmm.
sit there and take these opportunities and run reckless just like the woman. So when you sitting there running reckless
Yeah.
like she is, you got two reckless people. You created life. Both parents don't like each other. Now this child is being raised in a toxic relationship, and now this child is going to be a
Mm-hmm.
product of its environment, and it's not a positive environment. So guess what? This child has little to less success of being successful because of the environment that was created. And then what's so
Yeah.
hurtful is that sometimes these parents get into a verbal match with that child and then sit back and said, well, I didn't want you. I should have aborted you. Or you was created out
Mm,
of, you wasn't even planned. You know what I'm saying? Those kind of hurtful words that cut deep. You know, they always say that the tongue
yeah.
is more powerful than the sword. And it's things like that
Yeah.
that show you that why the tongue is more powerful than the sword. You know, because things can cut deep. And that right there cuts deep. And
Mm,
now you got the child questioning itself like, you know, and then when they get into low moments, they feel like they don't need to be here because the mother don't like them, the father don't care about them. So why do I need to be here?
mm-hmm.
And if they don't think about taking their life,
Right.
they're gonna live their life reckless to say, you know what, I'm gonna rob, steal, kill, do whatever I do, because I'm gonna die, I'll die
Mm,
anyways. I don't care no more. And that's why you have a lot of these
right.
children out here that have that mindset to say, I don't even care anymore. Whatever happens, happens. You know what I'm saying? And that's the type of level that I don't like and that we have eventually come to. And before you guys get to basically piggybacking off of that, I want to show this video that shows how reckless a guy can be. All right. So check
Mm,
this out.
Now, for the past few days, I've been going live, telling my story, speaking my truth. And a lot of women having an issue calling me a deadbeat because I tell them I was being irresponsible, yet not wearing protection. But I always tell these women that I got pregnant that I do not want to be a father to these children. And I offer to pay for the abortion. Majority of times, they'll either take the abortion or they'll take a plan B. but only these 7 have kept these children. But the crazy thing about it is they want me to be responsible for some children I told them I did not want. So for some years now, some of them been trying to get in contact with me, access denied, because I don't really know why you trying to get in contact with me. I done told you I did not want them kids. So don't expect me to be responsible financially, emotional, spiritually, mentally, or physically with some kids I do not want. And I don't give a fuck what nobody think about it. You're not gonna force children up on me. Yeah, we both made the decision to lay down and have intercourse. We both was irresponsible about the decisions we made that night. Yeah, I could have pulled out, but I didn't. And I ain't care to pull out because I'm not the one that gonna have to carry a baby for 9 months. It's the woman. In my opinion, women should be more careful on who they sleep with. Because you're gonna be like, one of my baby mamas trying to find me so I can financially support a kid I done told her or them I did not want. Another thing is, these just jump offs. These the type of women that I ain't even had to do nothing for. The bare minimum, but they gave me access to their body and they think I want to be a father to a child for one of them? Like, I don't even have no type of love for these women. How do they expect me to love these children? Before y'all say, oh, he irresponsible, he a deadbeat, he don't take accountability. Yeah, I do. I just don't give a fuck. You ain't gonna force these children on me when I told you I ain't want them. Yeah, I can offer to pay for abortion, but at what point can I force a woman to go get an abortion? I cannot. A woman say, my body.
So she says, my body, my choice. But the thing about it is, I want to show this other. I want to show this other video real quick, and then we can come back
Can
to
someone put something more potent in this bottle, please? This H2O ain't
I'm about to
it.
open this tequila.
Water just ain't gonna cut it tonight, man. Yikes.
Okay, hold on.
And they playing.
Let's see.
What?
He made a second video behind that one too.
Okay,
He was
so
throwing
this
just as
video,
many uppercuts.
I don't know why this video is not playing. It was on here playing. I saw it
I
earlier,
don't think
but
I don't think the system
it's not
recovered from
playing.
the last video.
Huh? You said what now?
I don't think the system recovered from the last video.
Now I don't know. It's well, what it
Real
was.
shit.
Okay,
God.
I don't know. I don't know if you guys what the video was it was the video of Jenny Jones, right? So if you remember the episode of Jenny Jones, there was a little white child that from a white woman, and he was outlandishly being bad. And you remember when on Jenny Jones they had that drill sergeant there to get the kids, right?
Oh
And that's when
yeah.
the drill sergeant came up to him and was like, "You see your mother there? Your mother loves you. And why are you doing this to your mother and this and that?" And then he was like, do you want me to be your daddy? And the little boy was so nervous. He was like, yeah, I do want you to be my daddy. And it was just so heartfelt because, when, like I said, the
Saw
guy
that,
was
yeah.
leaving the children, he's leaving these children got to fend for themselves. But at the end of the day, when these children go out to the schools and partake in festivities, there's a lot of festivities that have daddy and child activities. So if they see another child is able to bring their father to an activity and he don't have nobody but his mother, that makes that child feel some type of way. You know what I'm saying? And it's sad because he's
Yeah.
talking about don't force no children on him, but you laid down to create this child. And another thing is that a lot of these men that go out here and think that paying for abortion and giving her money for abortion alleviates you from your responsibility. It doesn't. This is why, the government just sits back and charges everybody for child support if you make a child. Even if I'm not the father and I end up signing my name on that birth certificate, then I'm responsible for that child, because we have a lot of people out here that's just recklessly not doing what they need to do, creating children and walking away from their responsibilities. If you never wanted a child, throw on a condom. But you're ignorant enough where you're selfish enough where you want to have raw sex because it feels better. And then the consequences of it, you procreate with these women. You know what I'm saying? And that
Yeah.
itself, you're looking at it as if that is a problem for you when it's not a problem for you. The reason why people are coming at you and saying you should be better is because the community now has to sponsor that child. When that child goes and
Mm-hmm.
gets up into a jailhouse, a facility, or that child gets assistance from his mother, that is state taxes. That is
Mm-hmm.
taxes that come from everybody in the state to provide for your child to eat and provide for your child's mother to eat as well. So don't sit back and
Right.
think that your responsibility is lax on you and everybody should ignore it, when in actuality, when that woman gets in the system, now that child becomes everybody's responsibility, because everybody that's working has to finance the child because you don't want to step up and do what you got to do for your own child. And that's the problem that we have. So I'll definitely turn it over to you guys so you guys could
Hmm.
um, chop it up on that a little bit more.
Mm.
Man,
Look,
while
I'm
listening
not in
to
the
that,
business of creating any. I'm not in the business of creating any friends or fans tonight. I'm pretty sure a lot of people not gonna like that tonight. You know what? That's okay because Jesus loves me, I love me, and my mama love me, and my
there it
brothers on
is.
here love me. So that's the majority. We trump everybody else. So that's cool. The right people love me. So it is what it is. Um, I'm not gonna ruffle some feathers. I'm gonna pluck some feathers and I'm gonna run over some toes in a 18 wheeler.
Yeah.
That brother that was right there speaking, I'm gonna say something that some folks not gonna like, and some of y'all, and y'all might even disagree with it yourself. But
Mhm.
I gotta call a spade a spade. The messed up part about everything he said was is that he's 1,010% correct.
Mhm.
He's a thousand.
Mm,
He's right. He's
mm,
absolutely right. Um,
mm,
he's disgusting. He's a vile and a terrible human being and a loathsome excuse for a man.
Mhm.
But the funny thing about being correct is it doesn't require you to be a morally upright person. It just
Mhm.
requires that what you're saying be the truth.
Correct.
And
mm,
in that moment, he was telling the truth.
Correct.
Um, the issue is that women not only elected to lay down with this dude,
Yes.
but
mm.
they didn't make require condoms or birth control requirement to do so. And then for good measure, they let him shoot the club up. They let him run a St. Valentine's Day massacre all up in the guts. And he
Mm.
said himself that the seven baby mamas that are coming after him, those aren't the only seven women he's laid down with. He said there's been a whole bunch more. He's offered some birth control, Plan B money or abortion money,
Right.
or just lucked out, or they were on birth control, or whatever the case may be, or whatever
Mm.
happened, a child just wasn't produced. But out of all those
Correct.
other women, these seven ones were the ones who weren't taking birth control measures of their own. They didn't insist that he use a condom, and they didn't take a Plan B or abortion, whatever. They opted to just keep the child.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
if we go according to the law of averages, that means if seven women are the ones that all these boxes were checked off of, we can be pretty sure that there's a significantly larger number of women that he's been with overall.
Correct.
So that means that all these different women did not think it robbery to go ahead and get in the sack with this dude. And I'm gonna tell you right now, like this: men, we know men. Some women might not, but men, we know men. A
Mhm.
dude that is this brolic and this open, this is the type
Yeah.
of dude that does not hide and sneak. There's some dudes that are, low down, they're cunning and they're kind of slipping on you. A dude like this,
Mm,
to quote Young Dolph, you know how I came in, so you know how I'm coming.
mm,
Now he might not
mm-hmm.
have, go around bumping this little monologue of his on some speakers everywhere he goes, but I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
if you ask him, he'll give you the same answer straight up. So
Mm-hmm.
you know what you're getting with a dude like this. And yet and
True.
still these women still thought that this was someone to get in the bed with, this was someone to go raw with, this was someone to get pregnant by. He should have
Mm.
never been put in the position that he was put in the first place. And the fact that a dude can have that level of access to you, again, water finds its own level. That says a
Yeah.
metric ton about you. We know who he is. He told us who he is. But the
Right.
fact that this dude resonated with you, that means that you're in the same boat as him. Y'all are
Correct.
partners. Y'all laid down together or wherever y'all got in together. Y'all
Yeah.
walking out on the same level. straight up.
Yeah.
Um, so there were no victims in this outside the children. There were no victims in these arrangements, just willing participants. And the second video that he did, I believe, because of course, you talk about accountability and how people like to duck that word and that reality.
Right.
Apparently, a whole bunch of people started flooding his inbox talking about, "Oh, why don't you just use a condom or whatever?" Or you should have been doing this, that, and the third, whatever. And he said it point blank, and this is something else that's gonna hurt a lot of feelings. He
Mm-hmm.
said,
Okay.
"Not one woman that he's ever been with has ever asked him to wear a condom."
Mm-hmm.
Wow. God
And,
damn.
and you know
Oh.
what?
Oh.
And you know what? That's not surprising to me at all.
Mm-hmm.
There was a
Ooh.
stud. I have like a whole little cache of because I've always been that kind of studious person. I got like a whole cache somewhere full of links to studies and research and stuff for different things. It might be on an old phone I had. I guess if I can dig it up. But there was a social study that had been done several years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and it was based off a collection of surveys that they did nationwide on sexual habits of adults. And one of the sections of it was related to birth control and sexual protection methods, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Based on the responses, now these weren't responses that were paid for anything. These were just general survey responses. Of
Mm.
the survey, what the results basically showed was that in most cases, men were more responsible with condom usage than women were.
I
Mm-hmm.
believe
More
it.
men offered or elected to use condoms than women were,
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
and more men reported that they were not asked when they asked, "Does your partner ask or bring up condoms?" To keep it concurrent, it was shown again that most women did not ask or did not desire condoms to be used in sex.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And I know a lot of brothers personally who shared testimonies. I know a lot of dudes that have talked about how a lot of women they get offended when you bring up condoms. One of the main things they say is, "Well, do I look dirty? Do I look like I got disease or whatever? This is that and the third."
What?
There's a lot of women that take it personal when you bring up condoms because they think that you're trying to say they look like they got something.
Mm-hmm.
What? Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I, I
That's
I've heard
you're
that.
not
I've heard that a lot, and plus I've heard a lot of women say that they're allergic to condoms. So you have a
heard
lot of
that
women
too.
out there that say
Most
that.
of the, and
That's bullshit.
there are some cases where that is legit. Most cases that ain't what it is. They
Yeah.
want the ODB. Ooh, baby, I like it raw. All
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
right. So
Mm-hmm.
we gotta be honest. See, when dudes like this open their mouth, it blows up the game because it's great to make it look like it's all the men's fault. But when a dude actually stands in the pocket and says, "Yeah, I ain't shit," now what about the women that ain't shit with me?
Yeah. Exactly.
Then,
Yeah.
then it's like flicking the light on, all the roads clear out. Oh,
Yeah.
it was a party a minute ago. What happened? No, 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 no. Let's come back. Let's talk it out. No. So
Mm-hmm.
we got to deal with this. And this dude is not an anomaly. There's a lot of dudes out there just like this.
Oh yeah.
Not a
Sure.
majority, but there's a significant minority, and that small number is doing a whole bunch of damage with women. Again, it's the old 80-20 principle, and it's not exact numbers, but we know that 20% of the dudes are out here getting active with roughly 80% of the women. And
Yep.
CNN actually just released results the other day. They dropped the ball on this. CNN actually came out and acknowledged that more men than ever now are basically going sexless or being placed in a position of incels, which means
Mm-hmm.
most dudes are not getting sex like that.
Yep.
Wow.
So where are all these children coming from? Where are all these experiences these women are having? Where are they coming from? The same
Yeah.
small population that's got an abundance of access, and a lot of those dudes are not the best quality people. They don't have an edge.
Mm.
Yeah. I remember. I remember.
They do have it is.
I,
Real talk.
I
Hello,
remember
Bro.
cell phone.
Kevin. I
Hello,
remember
cell
Kevin
phone.
Samuels. I remember Kevin Samuels said something similar to that. He was saying that, a lot of women out here saying that, oh, men not making the money and, it's hard to find good men. And he says, what are you talking about? He says, statistically. And that's why I try to tell women all the time, stop basing your life on the Negroes you surround yourself with. Talk about statistic. Statistic is
Yeah.
national level. It's a majority level, not anomaly, not
Mm-hmm.
your personal experiences. This is majority level. There's a
Right.
government data that supports this, and he pulled up the stat about 53% of the men out here make great good money and are
Yep.
childless, right? And
Mm-hmm.
he talks about how, like you were saying, Bobby, about the 20% of men that's out here that's in criminal activity in and out of prison are the ones that are populating our population. These are the ones that's getting sex from the women. So it goes to show you, with
Mm-hmm.
that whole what we talked about earlier about the whole bad boy image and what they gravitate towards, and they make these, reckless mistakes with the wrong dude, and then when they get older and get wiser, then another dude has to come in and take care of that child or assist her with that child.
Right. Then
It's
responsibility looks sexy. Then that's
exactly.
attractive.
Yeah, it
Exactly. And
looks
then,
like right.
as much as the people don't want to accept it, but that is the whole future and Russell Wilson's case, because Future is the example
Absolutely.
of the bad dude, the bad decision. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then here you come with Russell, who comes in and he wants to, take over. He's taking picture with another man's child, and he's going above and beyond for this child. And that's is basically what women want. That's why they always talk about the Sierra prayer, because they make these bad decisions, create these children, and then want this knight in shining armor dude to take over all the responsibilities like that. And it's
The
crazy
Disney
because
fairy tale.
yes,
They
I
think
have.
life is a Tyler Perry movie. At the end of the day, they
Mhm,
always think life is a Tyler Perry movie. Some light skinned nigga with good hair gonna save him. You know what I'm saying? And it just don't work like that. It
it
never
don't.
works like that. The
Rarely.
nonsense is being promoted, to our women and that they're buying into is poisoning. It's
Correct.
poisoning their minds, and they're out here actually demanding this in real world situations and circumstances. It
Correct.
never works out that way, sisters.
Mm-mm.
And then, they want to shame guys into, the guys that say that they don't want single mothers, or, there's I, I have I have issues with that community because okay, on one hand, if you're saying you don't want single mothers, that's not your preference, and you're giving reasons, that's one thing. But then
Hmm.
if you're just coming out here shitting on single mothers, that's another thing altogether.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, for these guys who, that's not their preference, they've gone out of their way to be responsible all this time in their life, and they don't want to just add water family. They
Exactly.
want to have a woman that they can start from scratch with to bear their seed. And they feel like, hey, I've been responsible all this time. I haven't made any bad decisions. I don't need anyone to save me from the repercussions of my bad decisions.
Hmm.
Okay. This is what I want. And I'm not going to, allow anyone to shame me into, because there's a whole community out there
Yeah.
that's shaming
Hmm.
men, oh, you won't date a single mother, then you hate single mothers. It's always, they're always pushing hate on you, as though men can't have opinions, as though men
Hmm.
can't
Yep.
make choices, as though men can't be very meticulous about the type of person that they want to date and involve with their in their lives, just like women are expected to.
Correct.
Women are expected to go out and get the top of the top choice male all
Correct.
the time. And
All of
men are expected to, as a top of the top choice male, we are expected to, and I'm not saying this about single mothers necessarily, or whatever the case may be, but we are expected to go for the women. Take me as I am. Isn't that how the song goes? You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like you
Yeah.
can't have any preferences. God forbid you say, "Hey, I want a woman who's fit and in shape." You banging on fat women. You're fat shaming. I'm not fat shaming.
your
I
body shamer.
You're body shaming. You know what I'm saying? You're a body shamer.
You have internalized Miss Soggy knees. Your knees are
Yes,
very soggy.
your knees are very soggy. You dig? Bruh, men have opinions. That's the
Exactly.
long and short of it. Men have preferences, especially the top of the top of the top. These men, these pie in the sky
Oh,
dudes that all these women think
absolutely.
they deserve. You understand what I'm
Correct.
saying? Those guys have the most opinions, and those guys, they're the most opinionated. They have the most
Absolutely.
strict preferences, and so forth and so on. And you know what? That's okay. It's okay when the women do it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we're just supposed to accept mediocrity. You know what I'm saying? Like she don't have to do nothing but just show up and be cute. You know, and
Correct.
we can't even decide what cute is. I really actually had a woman say that to me a couple weeks ago. You know,
What's that?
you
Hmm.
you only talk to light skinned slim chicks anyway. And so, you don't know nothing about no real women. What? Like, yo, this shit is insane. You can't have any of
Look,
your own preferences. When they want your opinion, they'll give it to you. You understand?
Exactly.
I love when women do that right there specifically because that's something that you specifically uniquely get from women. There's some things that applies to both genders, but that one right there, that's unique to women. Oh,
It
you don't
is.
like real women. And the funny thing is, and this just goes to show how women stick together
Yeah.
until they don't. In her effort to attack you, she
Yeah.
basically attacked other women. So basically, because I know, spoiler alert, there are
Mm,
women out there who are fit, thin, slim, in shape, or anything other than overweight and obese. There are women
right.
out there like that,
Uh-huh.
and there are women. Let's say she was right. Let's say that is your preference. You're color struck. You do like light skinned women. There
Mm,
are women out there who are light skinned. So
Hmm.
according to her, if you're anything below overweight and you are less than dark skinned, you're not a real woman.
but
How many
nobody
women did she just disrespect and insult just to take a jab at you?
but
But they
Hmm.
nobody
don't
calls
think about that. They
it,
don't think about that. That's how
I,
short sighted they are. It's
listen,
Hmm.
crazy.
I got an even better one for you, and I want y'all to use this. As my brothers in arms, I want you to use this. Do you ever notice how when you're arguing with a woman online or wherever else, and she can't win because she has no argument? Do you notice how they say, well, that's why you online arguing with a woman? Wait a minute. You're sitting up here debating with me. You're always talking about how you guys are intellectual equals with men, and I'm not saying that you're not. I'm not
Hmm.
saying that. You're saying that because you're insulting me because I'm here wasting time online arguing with a woman. I'm not a real man because I'm arguing with a woman.
Correct.
What are you talking about? You're calling women generally stupid.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing when you say that. You're
Exactly.
online arguing with a woman. I'm a man, therefore my intellect is superior. This is what she's saying. Therefore, my intellect is superior. Why am I wasting time online talking to, a lowly intellect female? That's what
Yeah.
she's saying, whether she realizes it or not. And they
Correct.
literally do this all the time. Dude,
Correct.
sisters,
I
we
love
value,
when I catch it.
huh?
I love when I catch it. 'Cause if I had
Listen,
probably not a penny, but if I had a nickel for every time I heard that, I could
my
probably go to
mortgage.
root. Now.
You dig? Real talk. Sisters, we value the ones of you that are high minded. We really, really do. We want to see more of you, take value in your intellect. You know what I'm saying? And lead with that. You know what I'm saying? There's so many. A sister broke this down to me a while ago, and she was like, "The reason why you have so many women out here showing their ass, to quote Chris Rock, you know what I'm saying? They're showing their ass because it's easy. It's easy. You
Hmm.
understand what I'm saying? Developing this is not easy." And she's like,
Hard.
people who are very attractive and who have very nice bodies and all that type of stuff, their whole lives, you got to think about it. People have gravitated to them because of their looks and their ass. So they don't
Yeah.
feel the need to develop this. They feel like, all I got to do is be cute and show some ass. And it's like
Hmm.
that can work for you to an extent until you get some brothers. You got to think about the quality of the person you want to attract. You understand what I'm
Correct.
saying? If you want to keep attracting the Walmart Taviuses of the world, as Bobby Drake so eloquently stated, you can keep doing that. You understand? And it
Yeah.
doesn't matter how good you look. I was reading an article the other day where this guy was making some very good points. He was talking about sugar babies and sugar daddies and so forth, making very good points. But he's talking about high quality women in the realm of sugar babies. And I'm like, I don't know if there are too many high quality women in the realm of sugar babies, and I'm loving everything he's saying. I'm gonna put the article link in the I'll send it to you so you can post it so people can check it out. But
Yeah.
how are some of us defining high value women? We need to really look at that. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Because a lot of women, you know, in fairness to them, they're they kind of get that too. That okay, people gravitate to me because I have a pretty face, I have a nice body. I don't want them to only want that about me, but I don't want to be too smart where I run the guy off. You understand what I'm saying? It really gets there. And
Yep.
my response to that is, well, if you want, it depends on the type of men you're trying to attract. If you want a quality man, you're going to need to check all the boxes just like you expect him to. At the
Exactly.
end,
I
you
think
feel
I
me?
think the high quality is kind of subjective to whoever it is, right? So that's why I don't put a high quality on a broad status because
Mm-hmm.
I could get a woman that most people feel like is high quality, but her quality don't fit in my system that requires a high quality woman. You know what I'm saying? Like each one of you guys have different high quality women for your system. You get quality women. We all have quality women, but the high quality might varies per each individual. Like you get quality women, but in my system, she's not high quality. In somebody else's system, she might be high quality. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
So it's very
I agree.
subjective. It's like I tell,
Agree.
with
Can we
women.
say at some point? Hold agree, but at some point, can we say, okay, I agree with what you're saying, but at some
Mhm,
point, can we say there are general things that a high
mhm.
quality woman has to provide?
Correct.
She has
Yes,
to
correct.
at least be intelligent. She has to at least be loyal.
Correct.
Like we need some type of framework because people out here all willy nilly, and the result is confusion. You
Correct.
know what I'm
Correct.
saying?
But that's
So
why
I
that's another thing that KS was talking about, how people would take high quality as money, monumental, right? Like as far as monetary wise, you
yeah.
might see a man as high quality because he makes six figures or better. But
Hmm.
you got a lot of men that make that much money that
Yeah.
beat women that are very narcissistic. So does that still make him a high quality man? You see what
It
I'm
should.
saying? So that's what I'm
Right.
saying is that's
But
why I
even
said
then,
when you break it down to the quality, like you say, with the quality man, then he won't have those characteristics and he might not make six figures if you
That's fine.
want a high value, high quality man.
We call it that. That makes sense though.
so when you talk about quality people, when anytime you're ranking anything, it don't matter if you're
Hmm.
talking about partners or sports teams or treasures or antiquities or whatever the case may be. There's always different categories or things that go into it. If you talk about quality of diamonds, you have color, cut, clarity, and all these different things. And
Right.
each of those different things makes up the overall value. So there's not any one particular thing that is going to necessarily outrank the others. It's part of the overall total package. So
Yes.
especially when we're talking about high value when it relates to men, um, yes, money should be a determining factor in that. And the only reason I
Hmm.
say that not because money is so amazing and controls people, but because we understand, especially in today's time, money is something that's difficult to come by.
Yeah.
Money is a tool. Money is used to survive. Everything that we have here, for the most part, requires money either to acquire or to maintain.
Hmm.
So, for one, money, whoever has more money is in a better position to ensure your survival. But
Yeah.
also, number two, in order to get money, that shows a level of competence. If you're able to command a six-figure type job, a job we make $150,000, $200,000, you
Hmm.
can't be stupid. Well, for men, because for women is different. But for men,
Hmm.
Yeah.
you can't be stupid and at the same
Oh,
time pull down six figures.
Mm,
200,000.
mm,
You understand that? I think it's what,
correct.
50% of the population makes over 90K a year.
Hmm.
So if it was so, and that's across the whole country, that's with all the different things that affect uh economics in these different areas.
Right.
So if only 15% of the population are able to do this, then obviously it can't be that easy. Everyone can't be
Hmm.
that competent or able to do it. So if you have someone that's able to do that, this clearly is not an incompetent idiot. They might be
Hmm.
lacking in some other areas, but you can't be incompetent. So for the fact that you're able to command that amount of money, that does say something about you. And
Yeah.
kudos to you to be able to do that for doing something that
Right.
most people can't do. But
Right.
that's not the only thing. And I think we get people get thrown off when they try and make it, oh, this is what makes a high value. No, this
Exactly.
makes you a high earning man,
Yes.
but it doesn't necessarily make you a high value man because that's the only thing you got. And you're ugly you're ugly facially, you're physically out of shape.
Yeah.
You have a garbage personality. People will have to be on drugs or drunk out of their mind or asleep to just be around you. That's how terrible you are as a person.
Hmm.
You basically aren't good for anything else other than your wallet. There's no way in hell you can consider this a high value man.
Right.
Correct.
So,
See, people
you
got
know,
it twisted.
now it can't be any one thing. It's the overall picture.
That's
And
one
that's where people
Exactly.
component.
get lost, I think.
Hmm.
Exactly. Just like women. Women will come up and say they're a good woman. And
Yeah.
I'd be like, that's subjective. You might think you're
They-
good, but I might see qualities in you that might not warrant you to
Most
be
people
good
think
with
they're
me.
most people think they're awesome. Most people think they're amazing.
Exactly.
Most people think they think they're amazing, and it couldn't be farther from the truth if we keep it in a
And
buck.
I laugh about that because especially when we talk about dating, everyone's like, "Oh, well, I'm amazing. I'm this high quality person." So all these amazing men, all these amazing women, and yet nobody getting together. Somebody lying.
Somebody
How are
lying,
all
bro.
how are all
Exactly.
these amazing people just single and they ain't getting with? Everyone has a horror story. Those
Everybody.
so the
Exactly.
math ain't
But
that.
it's mostly the women that's saying that they're good. Men
They
ain't
do.
running around saying that they good. It's the women that's you ask any woman, they'll be like, it'd be like a guy would be like, you can make a post and say, "Oh man, where are the good women at?" And women will come and be like, "Oh, there's tons of good women out here. Matter of fact, there's more good women than good men." And I'm in my head like, you can't be serious. You
You
can't be
can't.
serious. There's no
And
way you
I
could be serious about that. You
listen.
can't prove that. You can't back that up.
You
That's so
can.
subjective. You know what I
You
mean?
and the thing is this, man. Real talk. I I actually did post that question a couple times, and
Hmm.
when and Kevin Samuels posted that question, and the answers, first of all, sometimes I mean, I get some pretty fair attention on my post or whatever, but that post,
Hmm.
man,
Mhm.
I phrased it in a way to say, you know, there are a whole lot of good women out here. I talked it up in a real positive way because there are, right?
Hmm.
There are a whole lot of good women out here. Like this status, if you're a good woman, and tell us why. Pretty simple, right?
Hmm.
Man, I got more likes, I think, than I've ever gotten because I got 2 pages that loaded, both of them. I literally got about 500 or 600 likes on that post.
God
Like
dang.
the status if you're a good woman. 500 or 600 likes. And then they started, I'm a good woman. I'm great. I'm 100%. Da, 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 da. And they start talking about how great they are. And just like
Why?
in the Kevin Samuels video, he had to
Yeah.
ask the woman 6 times, okay, name what things about you are good. Name them, talk about them. They all, oh, I'm a great woman. I'm pretty. I pay my own bills and I work out. That's
Correct.
nice. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't make you a good woman. And so you get into this weird space because I had a conversation with Fee about this a while ago about how when we went on 954 Live,
Yeah.
955
Yeah.
Live, remember that? And I
Yeah.
was talking about how, women out here, modern women, they think that just because they pay their own bills and they're cute and they can hold a conversation that they're a good woman, like the basic acts of adulting. They pay their own bills. They buy their own shoes. How the song go? Shoes on my feet. I bought it. All that, right? If you can do that, you're a a good woman, and like the men are looking at them like they got 3 heads. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
dude,
Can we be honest about something?
what's
And this
up?
isn't all of them, but a lot of those particular women you're talking about,
Mm.
they think they're a good woman just because they're alive and breathing. Can we be honest?
Well, let's keep it a
Yeah.
buck. Let's keep
They
it a
think
Yeah.
buck.
just by existing, by having a pulse, they're good. Can we be honest about that?
Here you
Hmm.
go.
Even if they didn't have
Any
none of that other stuff going for them, they're a good woman. Why? Because I'm breathing right now. I'm alive.
yeah,
My heart's beating.
any man
And
would
what
be
else?
lucky to have
That's
me.
it.
Any man would be
Because
And
I'm
lucky
that's
to
alive.
the
have
thing.
me. Listen,
They
I
could
had
be
this girl.
struggling,
Yes,
not
yes,
having no money, and still say they're a good woman. Why? Because they're
Nasty
saying, "Oh,
attitude.
I can help
Poor
him.
behavior.
Yeah, I
right.
can help him get to where he's at." Well, damn, why you don't help yourself get to where you at?
Yeah,
Like,
real
that's
talk.
crazy to me.
It's
Like,
insane,
it
and
is.
so you have to. I think if we're going to put this in the position of a solution, I told you, you guys know, and everybody knows. I'm writing this book called A Relationship Book of Questions. Stephen Moreno Jones says 100. Yeah, we talking
Yeah,
some
that's
real
my
shit
boy.
right now.
Yo,
Shout out to him.
Steven,
Yeah,
shout out to my boy.
um, yeah, that's what's up. But we got to position this in the form of a solution now. I told you I'm writing this book, The Relationship Book of Questions.
Correct.
It's going to talk about in detail the significance of and how to properly vet someone that you want to enter into some type of serious romantic involvement with. We have
Correct.
to define up front from the perspective of both individuals, more so from the perspective of the man, because unfortunately, all the women think they're wonderful. They all think they're tens.
Hmm.
I'm not shitting on nobody. You hear women, okay. One reason that I seldom like to enter dating and relationship conversations with women is because unfortunately there's some point at which they're all going to start lying to each other. That's just the
Hmm.
long of it. You understand
Yeah.
what I'm saying? They say things like any man will be lucky to be with me. They say things like, oh, every woman is beautiful. Just nonsensical dumb shit. Look, sisters, respectfully, if everybody is beautiful, then nobody is beautiful by the very definition of the word beautiful.
Hmm.
Beautiful is something, is a word that is created to talk about people who are on a higher level of beauty. If everybody is beautiful, then nobody is beautiful. And you
Correct.
know, when
Yeah.
you're a man and you try to just kind of inject some common sense into those conversations and be like, hey, you get shut down. Oh, you hate women. No, we don't hate
Yeah.
women, but we're trying to have a dialogue here. And
Correct.
this is really, you're talking about what matters from the opinion of the buyer at the end of
Mm.
the day. Let it be the man, let it be the woman, whoever it is that is the buyer. That's whose opinion is important. You put up these
Exactly.
pictures, oh, all these beautiful sisters, y'all got them out here single, dot, 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 this, that, the third. If the buyer doesn't feel that way, that's why there's not been any action. This is common sense.
Correct.
Everybody, Kevin Samuels talked about this too. Listen, they talk about this man like a dog, but they vindicate him every day.
Hmm.
Kevin Samuels talked about, okay, well, why don't you just go? He said this to several women. Why don't you just talk to a regular guy? Their response is
Exactly.
always laughter. It's always laughter. And they don't even realize how disrespectful that is to shit
Hmm.
on quote unquote regular guys, because
Yeah.
most of them are regular women.
Yep.
Average guy, average. Go talk to get you an average guy. You know what I'm saying?
If
And
yeah.
they're average, but don't dare tell them that, because they'll have a field day on you. They'll start going off. What I do like is that men are starting to find their backbones
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
find their
Exactly.
pants, and they just stand on their square. Like this little dusty dude who was in the video. The one thing that I
Mhm.
do respect about this guy is that he's honest. Okay, that is the one
Yes.
thing I do respect about him. Like Bobby said, he's a despicable human being. I would
Yeah.
never go around this type of dusty dude or hang around him or nothing. But
Yeah.
he was honest, and he told these women up front, I don't want to take care of no kid. Now,
Correct.
in the real
Correct.
world, you still are responsible for taking care of that kid, whether you told
Correct.
them that or not. You're still responsible. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
Just that's how the laws work, or whatever. That's
Exactly.
how manhood works. But
Yeah.
I respect the fact that he says, "Hey, he told them this up," and I like the fact that he called them out on that "my body, my choice" shit.
Yes.
Because
Correct.
when you say
Yep.
"my body, my choice," you are excluding the men from the equation
Correct.
until you need some help. Oh, now you
Mhm.
want, why aren't you here for me? Why aren't you caring for me? Why aren't you taking care of your seed? That. You knew he didn't want that from jump though. And you
Correct.
still laid your little dusty ass there and got pregnant. You
Yep.
understand? If it's my body, my choice, then it's your body, your choice all the way. They are literally legislators right now are
Mm,
rewriting laws so that abortion, because they don't like abortion anyway, neither do I. I'm
mhm,
pro-life for the
mhm.
most part. I mean, I believe in rare exceptions for the, the life of the mother,
Yeah,
whatever the
life of the mother, complications, the health of the child. Correct.
Certain certain extenuant circumstances.
Exactly.
exactly. Other than that, I believe in responsibility. I believe in people
Correct.
being responsible adults. That's what I believe in. And no, I
and and
don't.
and I don't want to cut you off, but I do want to make a valid point with that is that
Yeah.
we are three individuals that don't have any children. So the
Hmm.
viewpoints of what we're saying, we're backed up by our actions. So we don't have children laid out everywhere. We are going the correct way of going about it, the marriage, and then doing it in a structured way. We're not
And
out here
for the
just
record,
slanging dick to
and
be
for the record,
dick slangers.
Right.
consciously,
Conscious.
not. It's not because there's never been any opportunity. Well, I'm pretty sure that's not the case for you, brothers. I'm speaking for myself
Fuck
at
Right.
least,
me.
but
Fuck me.
not
Real talk.
because there have never been any opportunities.
Man.
Not because it couldn't have happened, but because consciously we're mindful of our legacies
Right.
and not just doing things to do them, but the way we go about doing things, that intentionality.
Correct.
Real talk. And let me keep it a
Correct.
buck, man. I mean, since we're being all, directed and we getting into it a little bit, man. If I'm being totally honest, I'd have women poke holes in my condoms. I'd have women try to set me up. You know what I'm
Same
saying? That
here.
type of crazy
Same
shit.
here.
I've had people sabotage me to try to get pregnant. You understand what I'm
Same here.
saying? And
Same here.
I still beat that case. You understand what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I'm very deliberate about how I go about doing shit, and this is part of manhood.
Yeah.
The things. I mean, there's several things that I dislike about that despicable human being in that video. But the thing that irks me the most about that guy is, his desire to not be accountable for anything. I
Correct.
think that shit is despicable. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. I do
Oh,
respect that
let me,
Correct.
in the fact that
let
he
me
was.
touch on some.
Go ahead.
Okay, I want to cut you off, but let me touch on something about that because he actually did take accountability for himself. That's one thing I actually liked about it was if there's anything redeeming about it, other than
Yeah,
the
he
truth that
did.
he was sharing, he was accountable. He didn't make any false pretenses. He didn't make any excuses.
Yeah.
He said, "Oh, this is what it is, and it's this way because this is what I choose and this is what I decide." And he even said, "I'm owning up to my part; they're not owning up to theirs," which is powerful.
Correct.
But the funny thing is, and here's the crazy but powerful thing about that,
Mm,
because he's able to accept that level of accountability for himself because he's not telling any lies or creating any illusions about who he is and trying to make himself look better than his, but because he is openly and because he's doing it openly, he's doing it privately. Because
mm,
he's able to out loud acknowledge and recognize who he is as a person. The funny thing is, he very well has the opportunity, as long as he's alive, to do a complete 180 with his life and become a better man,
I
to
agree.
become a better person. Because he knows who he is. He's not making excuses for himself. He's
Mm,
telling it exactly like he is. And so far, even though they haven't been the most acceptable or positive choices, he's fully embraced that he's in the driver's seat of his life. He's driving in the
right,
direction that he wants to go in. But like anybody else behind the wheel, you always have the ability to make a turn. You can make
right,
a U-turn. You can go a different direction. He
right.
has the ability to do that. I would argue that he is in a much better position to get his life on track than a lot of these women that he deal with that make excuses. I want to try and offload the blame and responsibility on him and say it's not me. He is in a much better position to make something and salvage something out of his life because he's keeping it 100 with himself. When
I
you
agree.
refuse to accept accountability,
Mm,
when you don't take ownership for yourself and your life and your choices, when it's always somebody else, it's never you, you're just always a constant victim of circumstance and what have you,
mm.
you can never become a better person. It's impossible
Correct.
because it's never you. You have nothing to change. So you're
Correct.
completely at the mercy of any and everybody else.
Correct.
No,
There's
I
no
get you.
power in being a victim. Now, it's hard to be that person to, look at yourself and see some ugly things that you don't like and say, I got to fix it and tighten that up. And there's some difficult choices that you have to make because, this is your lifestyle. You've been living this way for however long you've been down that path. It's always difficult to change behaviors and habits. But
Mm,
if you can get to become that person, you can take your life in a completely different direction and experience a different level of freedom. Imagine that you can be as free as that dude was, not in a negative sense, but imagine you're able to just move as freely as he is, knowing who you are, knowing what you're about, knowing what you stand for, and doing something positive with that. Imagine that.
no,
But you can't if you don't. Yes,
I totally get you. My beef with his lack of accountability, because I think we're looking at accountability as two different things. I'm talking about the actual
I agree.
accountability of being a father to your children. There is a
Oh yeah,
level of
owning that. Yeah, he's not owning that. Oh,
right.
absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. His I
Correct.
get that he's being free and so forth, but what is despicable about him is his desire to not want to be that person. If this is what I'm saying,
Exactly.
if that makes sense.
Correct.
So that's
Yeah,
what I'm
That's
because
saying.
that's the issue.
the
But I'm kind of talking
accountability,
about,
That's what makes.
huh?
like I said, the accountability. That's why I purposely did the show, not
Yeah.
just accountability, but accountability from vantage points, meaning that you have accountability on both sides. So yes, him being honest, and when fellas be honest, the accountability now gets pushed into the woman's lap because I'm telling you
Mm-hmm.
what is going on. Now you have the accountability because, like he said, you got to carry this child for 9 months. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have to take that responsibility, that accountability to carry and raise this child when you know my viewpoints on it.
Right.
Now, from the vantage point of the accountability from his side, he
Mm-hmm.
got to look at it like, damn, I got children out here that's going to grow up and they might be successful. I might have, out of 7 children, 4 of them might be star athletes.
Yeah.
Now he sits back and says that he didn't want these children, but guess what? When it comes to it, it's gonna be a point where he's gonna try to come to the stairs like, yo, man, what's up, man? I'm your father,
Yeah.
man. I've been trying to reach in time. We see it happen
Don't come
all the
around
time.
now.
The
Mm.
biggest the biggest case that we've seen it was the Shaquille O'Neal joint, where
Oh
his
man.
father tried to come back in his life after
Yeah.
he being so successful. We see
Mm-hmm.
it happen over and over. The regrets, they're very unapologetic about their actions and have no regrets. But then when the child becomes successful, now all of a sudden they're trying to gravel back into their lives and trying to explain and asking for forgiveness. And
Right.
that's another part of it that nobody talks about
Mm-hmm.
when we're being that blunt and being that honest. Is on the reverse side, it hurts you in the long run, especially when that child ends up becoming very successful. Now you
Yeah.
want to share the limelight and be a part of them, and you don't get that option when you left them in the dust when they didn't wasn't a gem. You didn't brush them off, polish them off as a coal in order for them to be that diamond. You left them as a coal for them to start to go through the work to become their own diamond. Now you want to go to the jewelry store and ask for a cut of the diamond, and that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So that part of it, like,
Right.
when we talk about nation building and community building, as much as you are honest with it, and women always talk about how they want a man to be honest. Sometimes that honesty could bust in your ass if you accept it,
Mm,
like it's doing with those women.
preach.
And then on the flip side of that is that because he's being honest, he's also destroying a nation on the side because of his reckless behavior. And that's the problem because, like I said, when the single mother and single
That's my
parent,
problem.
um,
Yeah.
yes, the single parent comes into evolution, now that child statistically will have a greater chance of being a problem. So now you're
Right.
over here having these seeds, and these now your seed is busting in my goddamn window if they're not successful. They're taking
Mm-hmm.
and robbing me or robbing the old lady from her purse. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I used to have a big problem with that because I used to be heavily in the active word active world of mentoring and activism and going out here and marching with people. And then I'm sitting here with people that talk about they want peace and everything for their community. They don't want the violence, but yet you have your own children terrorizing your own neighborhood. You got your
Yeah.
own children inside the
That's crazy.
schoolhouse being bullies. So
That's
I
crazy.
tell people all the time, start with your household first. You want to change the world? Start with your household first. Get your household in order, then you can work on other people's household. You can't fix nobody if you ain't fixed yourself. That's
That's a
crazy.
whole other conversation. And you getting in some real shit now. Hold up now. That's a whole conversation right there. Because man,
Oh yeah.
these hypocrites is deep out here, man. These hypocrites are deep.
Correct.
Oh, some of the people who be saying some of the most profound shit on some of these posts out here, you know, and I know
Yeah.
their home is a damn wreck. You know
Yes.
what I'm
Yes.
saying? I'm finding out some of this stuff recently. Like, what?
Yes. Yes.
Really? Yeah,
Yes.
come on, yo,
Yeah.
bro. It's heavy out here. You know, that's why, like, sometimes you just got to take what some people say with a grain of salt
Correct.
because despite their best efforts, they full of shit. You know what I'm saying? That's the long
Yeah.
and short of it. You know, and you know, you know, we talked earlier about the do as I say, not as I do mentality, and that
Correct.
philosophy and how it just doesn't work. You know, this is not sustainable. You know,
Yeah.
over the long haul, you know, nobody is looking like the girl said in the video when her mom was scolding her, you know, about these men out here. You can't be having babies with all these men, and she kind of just called her moms out. You know what I
Correct.
mean? That's too common out here. That's
Correct.
too common.
Correct.
What we gonna do?
It,
I always challenge the sisters because sometimes we get flack for, you know, going in on women or whatever the
yeah.
case may be. And I say all the time, and I'm going to say this until I'm blue in the face or until somebody actually shuts the hell up and starts doing it.
Yes.
Sisters, we would not have to go so hard on sisters if y'all were doing your job. You are
Exactly.
supposed to hold each other accountable, goddamn it. The same way that we do, we get in these guys' chests. We don't
Yep.
play. You see, I dish rag that dude, you know, who was
Yeah.
talking that BS earlier. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I confronted him. I've confronted others. You know what I mean? When you start misteaching, you know,
Mm-hmm.
manhood to a group of people, you just talking ignorant, talking stupid, somebody's going to believe you. You
Correct.
understand? If you go unchecked,
Don't
what
pull your
kind of
card.
job am I
Correct.
doing? You know, holding my brothers accountable if I let that go. If I let them come on and talk slick to a sister that's just asking a question. What kind of man does that make me? Y'all sit by
Correct.
idly and let these women do despicable things and say or do nothing, with the exception of a few. I'm talking about a few. Sister Mila Renee on here right now. Shout out to you. That sister does that shit with her chest. When she
Yeah.
sees sisters out here, you know, acting up, misbehaving, she calls it out with her chest, and she's
Correct.
unapologetic about it. She don't fence straddle. She don't make excuses for them. She calls it out, and that's
Yeah.
the only way that we're going to fix these problems that we have in dating and relationships out here. Everybody, hear me on this. I don't
Correct.
give a damn what you say, what you do. You can go out here and do all kind of little stuff or whatever to pad all the, you know, drama that men and women have. You know, you can sugarcoat it, you can make your excuses. You aren't
Mm-hmm.
doing anything if you are not addressing the problem. It's like when a dude that's mistreating his woman, after he beats her ass, he goes and takes her out to a nice meal. Well, when they get back home, they still got the same damn problem.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? That's what we have to get on the kick of presenting real solutions for real problems, not quick fixes, not padding stuff, not making excuses, acting like stuff isn't there. That doesn't work.
Correct. I
just to
just
touch on it. Oh,
yeah. Go
go
ahead. Go
ahead.
ahead.
It's
Go ahead,
useless
Drake.
and lazy. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Drake.
Um, Real quick, I want to say that's one of the things we talk about solutions. One of the biggest solutions, and one of the ways that we will begin to make lightning quick strides in development of improving overall as a people collectively
Yes.
is if women go ahead and take the initiative to build an accountability culture among other women. Because, like you said,
Hmm.
women do not hold each other accountable.
No.
There was a really, really, really dope example illustration brother Jason Black gave on an episode of The Business some time ago,
Mm-hmm.
where he highlighted that, and that's not what he was talking about, but he made this highlight, and it jumped out at me how profound it was. He said,
Hmm.
even we talk about accountability in general overall in prisons. You got whether it's Rikers, Alcatraz, Folsom, or wherever they're at in prisons, in these maximum security prisons. You got some of the hardest, most violent, aggressive, conniving dudes out there in these prisons. Dudes that
Yeah.
have done armed robberies. They've committed acts of terror. They've murdered people. They've raped and assaulted people. They've done all kinds of every crime you could think about. You've got them in there.
Yeah.
These are the dudes that are completely morally corrupt. They'll do anything, whatever. But even in these prisons with these terrible, horrible dudes that are dangerous, you don't want to be anywhere near around them. Even among them, there's an accountability culture.
Of course.
Missing wind up in these prisons, and word gets out that you like touching on children,
It's a wrap.
or you kill, or you rape the elderly. You raped an old lady. You killed an old lady. You ain't gonna last 3 hours in Gen Pop.
Food.
And if you make
Food.
it through the day, if you ain't in solitary confinement,
Mm-hmm.
after lights out, 3, 4 in the morning, something, all of a sudden your cell door magically gonna find itself open,
Yeah.
and you gonna have 3 or 4 dudes in there just poking the hell out of you, or you out there doing your chores, you in doing cooking duty, you on cleanup duty or something. Someone gonna put you in Janet's closet, poke, 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 poke,
Yeah.
and that's you
Yeah.
gonna be out on the floor.
You'll be
Because
leaking.
even with hardened criminals, there's
Mm-hmm.
still a level of morality to them where it bothers them to be
Yeah.
sharing the same space, the same air as someone that can do something this low. Like, yeah, I'm a serial killer. I took out 89 people, but
Yeah.
you raped a child? Nah, bro. Someone got to do something about you.
Wrap.
That's that
Yeah.
accountability culture. In women's prisons and women's correctional facilities,
Mm-hmm.
you can be a woman who has molested young boys, young girls. You could have drowned and killed your own children.
Yeah.
The women will not bother you. They will not touch you. Now, if you cross them, if you piss them off or something, then it's on site. They'll do whatever to you. But you
Mm-hmm.
can be a foul person. You can do some heinous things, and the women ain't gonna bother you.
That's
Your life
real.
is not in jeopardy for that reason.
That's real.
Correct.
Two
It has.
sets of people morally corrupted, but the
Yeah.
men have that accountability culture. They're holding other men accountable. They're punishing other men for their
Yes.
wrongdoing. They're holding them to task. You
As
don't
they
have
should.
that with the women, and that needs to change.
Correct.
Yes,
Because
it does.
because again, and I've asked this question before, if all the men are out here holding each other accountable, getting themselves together, and becoming better men, where are the women? Who are these
Mm-hmm.
women? Who are these women that these reformed men are going to come and be with? These chicks that still can't own their own mess. It's still
Mm-hmm.
somehow the men's fault who've done the work. It's still their fault. Who are
Correct.
they
Well,
doing it for?
you
Exactly.
know, brother. You know how this goes. You're not allowed to have an opinion. You're supposed to just take them as they are. You know what I mean?
Well,
This is it. Take them as they
I'll
are.
take something. I
I'm
got
glad
something I'm gonna take. It ain't that.
I'm
Go
glad
ahead.
you stated that, black women particularly have to step up and basically fend for themselves.
Yes.
I know they go around and talk about a narrative. There's a narrative going around with black women that they feel like black men are their enemy, and in reality, black men is not your enemy. We are your sole providers and helpers, right? Because if
And
you look
protect
at
us.
it,
Yes,
most men end up dying or going to prison over protecting a woman.
yes, they
We
do.
don't talk about it. We just we just seen something occur recently where down in Mexico, where three guys with a woman went down there. The
Mm-hmm.
woman unscathed, unharmed. She was not hurt. But the
Mm.
guys that went with her, the one guy who survived ended up surviving with 3 gunshot wounds to his leg.
How about
The
that?
other 2 black guys that was with her, they
You
end
see?
up being deceased.
Mm.
So 3 guys got injured, 2 killed, and 1 injured with 3 gunshots, and she didn't have anything on her. So
Mm-hmm.
people got to understand that, black women, we're not out here to bash you. We're out here to protect you. We want
Yeah.
you to unify in an unapologetic way, unify with your black brothers, and go out here and fight the system itself, the dominant society, because guess what? I'm going to show you guys what I think black women should start doing more of. Regardless if we're around or not, you guys got to nip this shit in the bud.
Mm.
And one thing that I took a post off of a Facebook friend of mine. She
Yeah.
posted this, and I've seen a lot of times we got goofy white boys, and when we got goofy white boys that are YouTubers, they love to go in the hood and they love to mess with black people. But now,
You gotta stop.
black men, we punch them in their face when they come and try some crap like us with black men. But these
Mm.
white boys are now going into going around looking for black women to target them so they can make fun and ridicule them to get their Facebook or their social media likes skyrocketing through the roof. Because
Right.
when white men make fun of black women, it's
Mm-hmm.
always profitable for them. So
Right.
this was a video. I wanted to post a video up, when I saw that my Facebook friend, she had posted this, and I was like, oh, okay. But I'm
Mm.
like, I didn't see an outrage for it. Naturally, it should be an outrage for it where white men don't come around and mess with black women at all. One of the
Agree.
things that we know as black men, we know there's a code when it comes to black women. And our
Right.
code to black women is that you don't mess with their hair. So this white guy, I believe he's Russian through his name, right? I think he's a Russian white dude, and he's a YouTuber. And you see, he got the blue check, so he's a famous YouTuber.
Uh-huh.
And one of his pranks was to go around vacuuming women's wigs off of their hair. He had one of those little blower suckers, right? They're a leaf blower, but you can put it on the suck mode, so it
Mm.
sucks off stuff instead of blowing it out. So he put it on the suck mode, so he was going around acting like he was blowing things and then putting the nozzle towards the back of these women's hair and sucking off their weave. So
Mm.
what he would do is he would make fun of them, make a mockery of them, and then he would, when they get irated and do what they want to do and act like they're defending themselves, he'll come in and be like, no, 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 I got a $500 gift card for a hair store. So he does it and then wants to give them money to go get their wigs back whenever they get back. And I noticed that none of these men got punched in their mouth for doing what they do, right? And it's
Mm.
like you got to step up to yourself and stop, letting people try you on some bull
Right.
crap.
Mm-hmm.
So I see a lot of white men do this, and with our sisters, some of our sisters have weak points and weak hearts for people outside of our race, because if it was a black dude, it would have been fist fights
On and
off
popping.
rip. You know
On
what I'm
and popping.
saying? It would have been on and popping. But when it comes to these white guys, they get a pass, they get a break, and they know that, and they keep doing that, even if they give you money as compensation. So my Facebook friend says, she, after watching the video, because he did this to like 4 women in this particular video, because I watched this video, and
Yeah.
she's like, this is not funny at all. Very disrespectful to black women. He played games with the wrong woman and get shot. People play too goddamn much. It's a prank. Well, I ain't laughing,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Shout out
And
to that.
under the post, here, some other sisters came in, right? So I blocked out their names. So another sister came in and said, "This is not funny at all. I would have pressed charges for assault. That's not funny at all. 500 is an insult. Embarrassing black women and then he told the women it is her time to suck him now.
What?
This is downright degrading,
Wow.
disgusting. We continue to be the butt of the joke for the entire world. See, and I don't like that because it makes it seem like black men included in that statement when the real butt of the jokes is coming from the dominant society. And
Mm-hmm.
then the next girl says, I was looking at some of the comments on the video, and many black women find it funny, which
You off
baffles me.
cold. You off
Well,
cold. Sister. You off
$500
cold.
would not be a consolidation for me. I would file assault charges. Then it says that exactly why we as black women are the butt of the joke. They better know who to play with. I'm not the one. And then the final thing was me either. Even if the women were in on it, this was crazy on them to participate.
Yes.
You can never get me to do something that degrading. And I just wanted to
Oh.
highlight that because
Mm.
it's crazy. And I want black women that's watching this that that type of unapologeticness or stand upness needs to be applied in different areas as well. Because
Yes.
we can go into politics as well. The politicians use you guys as a butt of a joke. They
Mm-hmm.
don't take you serious either. And
Nope.
you got other black women that are laughing kiki with these politicians and they downgrade and down talk to you as well. So
Yep.
just like you have that unapologeticness to say, I won't take that. I won't take the money for that. We need to go back to the code of conduct because when we had a code of conduct, that type
Mm-hmm.
of nonsense never existed in that realm because we would punch these dudes dead in their mouth, and we had sisters
lay it
back in the
out.
days,
Yeah.
and they weren't even in the Panther Party. You just had regular sisters that will punch you in your shit if you ain't act
Yeah.
right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We got to get back to that. And I
You let
just wanted to point that out. Like, black women, we have your back, but we can't have your back at every moment. Some moments you're going to have to go and punch people dead in their face for disrespecting you. And
Mm-hmm.
that's something that should be on a national level. You guys should stick together, just like you got sororities and y'all stick together. Y'all should be sticking together as one. And when stuff like this comes out, you guys need to boycott this guy. You need to put him on blast. You need to shame these people that's shaming black women. And just like she said, the image of it, even if you participate in it, it's the image that destroys it. So even with movies, the black exploitated movies, that's what the Hollywood Shuffle was talking about. How we as
Mm-hmm.
black people would take a paycheck to go out here and shuck jive and show an image that goes out here and keeps us in a negative light. And this is why we keep having the problems with other people, especially the dominant society, because
Yeah.
they look at us from these images and think that that's how we really react. And it hurts us in the streets, it hurts us in the corporate world, and it damn sure hurts us in the courtroom. And we got to get on codification and stop that bull crap, man, because it has to come to an end.
It does, bro. Like you said a mouthful right there, man. We have to be on code. We have to have each other's back. You know what I'm
Correct.
saying? I remember some white supremacists, suspected white supremacists, followed the sister to her car at Walmart. You
Yes.
know, and he was talking and jawing and whatever. I stopped. You know what I'm saying? And I stood there. I watched him, and when he saw me, he kind of looked down, and his voice kind of went down a little bit. And I stopped.
Hmm.
I looked at the sister. I said, "Hey, sister, you okay? You straight?
Yeah.
Straight?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm okay. I'm just making sure you straight. Because if you need me to come over there, I'm here.
Yeah.
What's
If you
up?
need me to come slap the shit out of somebody right now, it's gonna happen." You know what I'm saying? I took a couple steps over in that direction. He
Correct.
walked off. He walked off and just mind his business. You understand what
Oh,
I'm
I bet
saying?
he
He
did.
he just walked off quietly,
I
Mm.
bet he
quickly.
did.
He quickly walked off and mind his own business. But just the presence, your
Mm.
presence, you being there, you letting it be known off rip. I'm not gonna let this happen. I'm not gonna. She's an older black woman too.
Yeah.
You think I'm gonna sit up here and let this damn man look? You know, it would have just had to happen. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. I'm not gonna sit up and let this man. And this was like during when Trump was in office too. So you know they got a little more bold. You know what I mean? And I'm like, bro, I'm not gonna let this go down. Period. And we need to get on that. Sisters need to get on that. When you see somebody attacking your dignity, you understand? Attacking your dignity as a human being like that, you can't just let that go. You can't just let it go. You know, and just walking around comfortable in the hood doing this. I came up. I was out west when the riots popped off. You understand what I'm saying? I was out there. I used to live out west. That's kind of why I'm cut a little different than a lot of these cats out here, man. Like, you can't play that shit out there. Those guys, you know, the check-in culture is real. The gang culture is real.
Shout out to on the West Coast, though, for real.
You really gotta. You're gonna have to see somebody if you out there being disrespectful and carrying yourself a certain way. You know what I'm saying? It's not allowed. California is like another country. You know what I'm saying? One thing that I do appreciate about California, I learned a lot about manhood out there from my pops and from cats in the street. You know what I'm saying? You just learn very quickly. We don't just let shit go. You know what I'm saying? Certain shit will get you touched up out here. Certain shit will get you killed. You wear the wrong colors in the wrong neighborhood in California, you get killed for that. Do you understand? So, like, man, we really have to, you know, the sisters, they have to start, you know, holding each other accountable, watching each other's backs, whatever the case may be. What really upsets me is they'll galvanize and they'll go to the wire for the wrongest shit. You understand what I'm saying? For the Democrats, they get out there. They, you know, they in the streets, rah, rah, sis, boom, bah, you know, because the Democrats always blowing smoke up their ass, you know, the black girl magic, and, you know, all this, that, whatever. They don't care about you. The best proof of that is what have they done for your community? Who's gotten some justice for Sandra Bland? I'll wait. Rakia Boyd, I'll wait. The sister in Kentucky, what's her name? Breonna Taylor. These are all Democrat-run cities, but they can't get justice for these women somehow. But when election time comes, they want to talk all this black girl magic bullshit and get in your head and convince you somehow that they're your friends.
They'll put on the Kente Claus scarf and do the Colin Kaepernick knee, but
they literally did that. Nancy Pelosi and then had on Kente Claus. I mean, just despicable pandering. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying the Republicans are any better. I'm not saying the Republicans are any better. They're both fangs on the same snake. You understand? And you have to get to the point where you're savvy enough about political candidates to know the history of those candidates and vote your interest. That's what I'm saying. Don't vote Democrat because they came out there with a bucket of chicken doing the Dougie and they told you to go vote Democrat. That doesn't make any sense.
It don't. But that's why I said when you nip it in the bud, when you nip black women, you gotta nip stuff in the bud because you're not nipping nothing in the bud. That's why you become the butt of the jokes in all areas of aspects of life. And when you don't nip it in the bud, you have things like this. Now check this out.
Mom's phone is always blowing up. Your mom does important work at her job and volunteers on weekends to clean up after slobs. She does all the shopping and takes care of you. But after you go to sleep, she's got nothing to do. She spends lots of time on her tablet and laptop and phone. What does she do at night when she's all alone? Her notifications don't seem to relax. Yep, you guessed it. Mom's posting thirst. She loves it when randoms slide into her DMs. She says she can't make any female friends. Your mom's a good lady. I'm spitting straight facts. Just let her enjoy her nightly thirst.
So that's who wrote the book, Brad Goose.
Wow.
He's the one who wrote it, a white man, and a white woman is reading it and
Cracking.
laughing at it, and it's black women illustration. It wasn't a white woman that they were illustrating. It was a black woman
Right.
and a single black her son, single mother, her son, saying that she's posting thirst traps. She's doing
Oh,
this and doing all this ratchet stuff. It didn't show her her job or anything professional. It showed her cleaning up like some old janitorial type stuff. Like all the negative, like there's so many
That was,
negative
you know
stuff
what?
that
That was a
highlighted.
really good book. I don't know about you guys. That book was incredible. Um, I really think that was so well written and illustrated and everything. I really think that the brothers that happen to be in Mr. Gossie's neighborhood, they should definitely form a book club and definitely see if they can pull up on Mr. Goss and just really meet the author, get his autograph,
go.
discuss his inspiration. I wish I was in this area, man. I'd love to chop up the book with him, and
Fitting.
I'm sure he have a lot
Fitting.
of interesting things to say. A lot of
Fitting.
interesting things to say.
Wow. Wow.
Yes. So it just goes to show you that you don't check it, and every time brothers are out here checking it, sometimes the women come and check us. Like when I was checking Drake on his bull crap,
Mm-hmm.
on that post, there was a lot of women that was like, "Well, I don't see nothing wrong with it. Well, it's his body. If he wants to run around here and recklessly sleep with women," and I'm in my head, I'm like, "Really?" And I said to them, I said, well, you do know Drake is a celebrity, but Drake itself represents many men that y'all encounter every day that have
Right.
them same reckless behavior. And those regular men that have those reckless behaviors, y'all on this app talking about constantly.
Right.
Day
Right.
in, day out, you making
Celebrity
general
worship.
posts about some ratchet dude who don't get his shit together. You like him, he ain't got
Uh,
his shit together. He playing you, trying to sleep with your cousin. That was Drake. Drake flew in another man's wife,
uh-huh.
knowing that another man's girlfriend, I should say, knowing that she has a boyfriend and doing
Yeah.
this shit on purpose. Like everything you complain about is what Drake is, but you give Drake a pass because he's a
Uh,
celebrity, but yet Drake exudes every toxic ass shit that goes on with the dudes you face with on a daily basis.
two things there, man. Two things there. Celebrity worship is
Mm-hmm.
one.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And number two is if they attack his behavior, they're thinking about the flip side of it. If they attack his behavior, then that means that also applies to women. You understand what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's the lack of accountability for women
Mm-hmm.
and the celebrity worship. That's why
Correct.
they were saying that dumb shit. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
And look, you should expect that at this point. If you attack a celebrity, somebody's going to push back because unfortunately, as a people, boy, do we worship celebrities. It is
Mm-hmm.
despicable. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then yeah, if it's something, usually you didn't get that much pushback. Like I told you, if you would have put Lori Harvey
Yeah.
name there instead of Drake, because she hopped from dick to dick too. You understand what
Yeah.
I'm saying? It's no different, right? If you
Yeah.
would have put her name instead of Drake, because you said I think it was something to the effect of Drake is out here just banging some of everybody, whatever.
Yeah.
If you would have put Lori Harvey, bruh, they would have came for you with everything they had with both barrels. You understand what I'm
Yeah.
They
saying?
would have printed out your profile pictures and been lighting them on fire. They'd have had little voodoo dolls with your face on them and shanking them.
Remember how
Bro,
they tried to act like
you would have
she was
had to
the
leave
greatest
the
woman on earth
city.
when she left Michael B. Jordan. They tried to act like
Yeah.
she was their hero. Some of them even said that they were glad to see a woman break a man's heart. They even actually said
I
that shit.
saw that, and
They
that was
actually
just
said it. I'm like,
So I
that
want to
was
ask. I want to
bottom
ask you.
tier woman right there.
I want to ask you guys a quick question,
Yeah.
real
Yes,
quick,
sir.
because I start seeing stuff like this, and I don't know why it's become such a big issue amongst women, but I tried to defend it one time because one woman on my friends list had wrote something similar to this, and when I went onto there, she had the whole amen corner talking about it. But I wanted to know if you guys had a problem with this, because
Okay.
I started to see this really shows me the mindset of women today, right? So here you go. This is a meme. This girl puts this up and she says, I gave a cute guy, my number last night. This man texted me at 6:50 this morning talking about some grand rising.
Hold up. Wait, let me correct you. Gave a cute nigga my number last night. And this man
One.
texted me at 6:50 in the
You're
morning
right.
talking about
You're
some
right.
grand
You're
rising.
right. I tried to
And
clean it up for
listen,
for YouTube.
I know that I've been criticized before by some people by using the word nigga too much. Trust me, when I
Yeah.
use the word nigga, there's context to it. It is calculated. It is not by accident.
Yeah.
And the reason why I think it's important that on this post we use that word is because a lot of women, whether they realize it or not, they attract the nigga contingency that is within male society.
Correct.
And if you refer to men, generally speaking, as niggas,
Yes.
then that's what you're going to attract. And that is why she has a problem with the brother texting her in the morning saying grand rising. I've had, yes, to respond to your question directly, yes, I've seen this a lot, bro. Real talk. Like when you address, because a lot of women like to complain about how men address them. We went through that on this very show.
Yes.
You got women out here addressing each other as bitch and hoe and bad bitch and all that. I say broad and you want to have a cow. Okay, whatever. But at the end of the day, you got women and everybody else out here calling women everything but a child of God, right?
Yeah.
When you say the slightest little thing and you a high-minded brother that's speaking life into sisters, it's a problem. The same mentality goes behind this bullshit. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You met a man and in your mind, he's a cute nigga. I tell women all the time, well, when I was single, and I'm single anymore, I'm married, but when I would tell women all the time, don't ever refer to me as yo nigga or whatever that, what kind of mentality informs women who speak like this? Women who refer to women who refer to men generally as niggas are no different than men who refer to women generally as bitches. They are exactly the same. They are exactly the same. Low energy, creepy crawly, you know what I'm saying? Draggle-tailed gutter snipes. They're the same people. You understand what I'm saying? So I want to put that out there. It doesn't mean if you say nigga here or there, whatever. Hey, it is what it is. We black folks, we do that time to time, whatever. But if you refer to men generally as niggas, you are tantamount to those men who refer to women generally as bitches. You know what I'm saying? And that is what you're going to attract. So when you see some shit like that, and the females all, she's banging on the guy who says grand rising. Didn't we have a whole post where you had a whole bunch of women come on there making excuses for, what was it? It wasn't the grand rising. It was good morning, beautiful. Good morning, beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah.
We had a whole damn post. It must have been 200 plus responses on that post.
I remember. That was a while ago.
They were defending women banging on brothers who send texts to say good morning, beautiful. That is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. And my thing is, brothers, when you come across a woman who's that level of low energy and ignorant, you just get as far away from her as you can as soon as possible. absolutely don't have no kids with her. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever the case may be. See, that's the type of chick that wants the guy with the edge. You understand what I'm saying? That doesn't want the guy that seems too responsible,
Yeah.
and doesn't know where his birth certificate
Birth
is.
certificate.
Yeah.
That's who that is. Her dumb
Correct.
ass.
Uh,
You dig?
we live. Oh
Hmm.
my
Men,
god,
you have got to
bro.
leave garbage outside. You
We
dig?
live in bizarre world, bro. We live in hell.
Real
Yeah.
talk.
We are living in hell right
Actually, bro, I used to promote clubs, right? Pangea Thursdays at the Hard Rock. We used to promote me and Majestic Group. Shout out to them boys, right? I remember there was one night. It's Thursday. We came out there, man, and a follower, one of my Facebook followers at the time. This was years ago. One of my Facebook other followers at the time. I said, "Hey, how you doing? Good evening." Blah blah blah. Just small talking. Hey, you look really nice. Blah, blah. Don't say that to me. What? Like, I had to ask her, like, what do you mean? Don't say
What?
that to you. Don't say that to me. You ain't gotta talk to me like that. It's all game, and you can't run no game on me.
Oh Lord.
What? Dude, my head exploded. I'm like, and the thing is, she was a number one, two, and three. Just because a guy compliments you and says hello doesn't mean he's trying to talk to you. Doesn't mean he's trying to fuck
Exactly.
you. You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
She was way, way, way substandard for me. It wasn't bad though. She looked nice, and looking nice doesn't mean I want to go home with you. I want to make you my wife. You look nice. You put yourself together in a manner where you look nice.
Yeah.
Lots of women look nice, and I'm not attracted to them at all. You know what I'm saying? This chick assumed because I said hello in a polite way. And I said to her, well, because I'm a host there, I'm a promoter.
Yeah.
I'm thanking you for coming out. I appreciate you coming. And I'm telling you, hey, you look nice. I was running game to her. And I should not talk to her like that because that's offensive for me to tell you you look nice. Man, I've never wanted to cut somebody out so bad in my life. You know what I'm saying? Man,
Oh,
God
bro.
worked for me that night. I still gave her the business though, but I didn't cuss her out. I think that is when I found that talking to someone and telling them exactly what it is that they're deficient in is much more effective than cussing them out.
Yeah.
Hey, because my response to her was gold. You understand what I'm saying? I said, hey, sister, there's no need for you to get offended. I'm giving you a compliment. I'm showing you respect. I'm not trying to run any game on you. And I told her, it is really unfortunate that your opinion of yourself is so low
Yeah.
that you think that if someone is telling you you look nice, that they're trying to run game on you. Really, really,
Definitely.
really need to see about getting some help. I told her and I walked off. I really let her ass have it. She felt bad. She told me at a
Yeah.
later date that she felt bad about what I said. But she's like,
Damn.
you know what? I understand. She didn't say I was right. She said, I understand why you said it.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means either. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what? Who does that though? Like, what kind of mental space are you
Look,
in?
if you that broken, you need to stay your ass. Look,
Real talk.
sometimes I think I'm weird, but I've realized I'm just a lot more practical than a lot of people are, and it scares me because I think some of the stuff I do is very basic. I don't think I have
Yeah.
any
Yeah.
superpowers. I think I just do some basic stuff, but my whole life I've always been that way. If now it doesn't necessarily mean that, but if there was every time when I was broke or I was down on my money, you weren't
Yeah.
gonna see me. I'm not a when I had money, especially when I was younger in my college days. When I
Yeah.
had money, you knew because you saw me out and about.
Yeah.
If my paper
Yeah.
was low, you ain't gonna see me. I'm hibernating for until my paper back up. I'm just
Correct.
MIA. If I'm in a good mood, you gonna see me. I'm gonna be out there talking, cracking jokes, social whatever. When I'm having a bad day or whatever, you gonna see
Mm-hmm.
as little of me as possible.
Real
If
talk.
I'm so down in my self esteem or whatever I got going on, like she was, you ain't gonna see me in nobody's establishment. I ain't trying to be around people. I'm not trying to have anyone irritate me, and I'm not trying to do what she just did to you to anybody else.
Right. It's
Right.
A lot of
crazy.
people don't have that level of self awareness or consideration. If I'm having a bad day, now I gotta let everybody say we all gonna have a bad day.
I
I
mean,
got my hand on the button. We all gonna die. It's like,
Bobby,
yo,
I hear you, but why are you even in that fucking place to begin with? Why? I cannot think of a single fathomable logical reason why you would say some stupid shit like that to
I would
anyone
feel so
in
terrible for
life,
her.
huh?
You know, somebody like that, I would in that moment probably, I wouldn't even been offended. I would have probably even would have been upset with her. My heart probably would have broke a little bit. Like, baby, you down bad. You were in a bad place. You need to go home. Call your homegirls or call a Lyft or Uber. You need to get back to the crib ASAP, and you need to go in your prayer closet. You need to whatever you need to. You need to work this out. Something ain't right.
How
Correct.
you
That
do
should
that?
be a rock. That should be a rock bottom moment when you wonder, is it really this bad? Yeah, it's worse than that.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
So yeah,
But
we
there's
see
a
that
lot of people
shit.
like that. Like what you talking about, man.
Yeah,
It's real
Yeah.
out here.
Yeah.
it's unfortunate. And, you know, you sisters will get upset with you for having the slightest transgression, but when you're polite and a gentleman, they get
You
upset
know
with you.
when,
So it seems.
bro?
God damn.
One of the most profound things I heard in music, in terms of like bars, whatever, and
Mm,
it actually also goes to Drake. Shout out to Mr.
Drizzy,
Six God himself, Mr. Aubrey,
right?
and
No
he said
doubt.
it on Aston Martin music, and I love that song. It's just very
Oh,
mellow.
I know the song you're talking about. I
You,
hate to call the
you,
women bitches, but the bitches love it. Oh my
I hate
God.
calling the
Yo,
women bitches, but the bitches love it, bruh. What I'm
so
telling you, when I heard that,
I
I had to
stopped.
just sit like this for like I had my head tilted. I had to
It's
fold
like,
my hands. I had to sit back a little bit. I was showering that night just like this.
that shit was
I
crazy,
was on the
bro.
toilet just like this. I was in, man, bruh. That one sat on me. I had to adjust my weight, bruh,
That's
because it was so profound. But the simplicity of it, because it wasn't like it's some top 10 bar. That's not something that was going to put in the Hall of Fame.
Mm.
But just in terms of the realism and just the relatability
uh-huh.
and you literally captured a real dynamic in life and put it in that form. I hate calling the women bitches, but the bitches love it.
Mm.
Man,
What do you do with? And I'm not gonna say. I mean, I personally don't see any reason to be offended by Grand Rise. Some people think it's corny or whatever, Queen or
see.
whatever, this, that, or the third or whatever. But I mean, people are people. That's your style. That's how you do it. It is what it is. It's a respectful term. There's nothing negative about it. It might not be
Mm,
your cup of tea, but it shouldn't be anything that evokes a negative reaction out of you.
Exactly.
correct.
If that right there is the perfect example of I hate calling the women bitches, but the bitches love it. If I call you queen, you look so
A queen.
beautiful this morning, queen, and your response is don't call me that or that's just I don't like that. At that point, I got to wonder, well, if I call you bitch, am I going to get a better response? What can I say to you? I can't call you this.
Vanity.
I can't
It's
call
in.
you this. So
Mm,
do I say, how you doing, average woman? What's going on, basic chick? How are you, my rudimentary sister? What do you do with that? I think about that. I
it's
literally am being handicapped in my ability to have a conversation, to have an interpersonal interaction with you.
right.
Mhm.
I didn't talk about your mom. I didn't insult your children. I didn't call
Right.
you out your name. I literally said good. I said I called you a queen. I said grand rising, which you know means good morning. I'm
Yeah.
saying positive things. I'm speaking to you respectfully, and you're making it plain that this is an issue.
Yes,
What
it
is
is.
Mm-hmm.
anyone supposed to do with you?
Yeah.
And and none of their friends will check them on him.
Nope.
Can't call.
They'll
Oh, you
agree,
also can't call them beautiful.
post
So
it.
you can't call them beautiful. I,
They'll agree with him. They'll repost it. They'll make up some reason why it's okay for her to talk stupid like that.
Hmm.
Tell me when I
It's,
lie.
you ain't
Just
lying.
saying.
I do
Just
want to
saying.
say, I do want to say before we get up out of here,
Yeah.
because I know it's late. I know everybody's.
Mm,
I do want to show this video, and this is a PSA to women, also to men as well. But this is really a woman. really giving other women good game when they are out and about with their man. And I think that this game that she's about to drop is 100%. Man, when I say it's fire because you will end up saving your brother in the long run. Meaning, the guy you are with, you will end up helping him in the long run. This is your version of protecting your man. Keep this in mind, ladies. All right?
If you have a boyfriend or a brother, stop putting them in a position where they end up in the ground or behind bars. Now, don't get me wrong. Of course, you want to protect your significant other or your sister, but sometimes your sister or significant other can be so dramatic and have you in a position where it wasn't even that deep, or they caused the conflict. And so now you somewhere. Do I defend my sister or think with a sound mind, like, okay, let me kind of analyze the situation. I know how my sister is. I know how she can get the popping off at the gums. So let me kind of chill. Don't sit here and just go out blindly, especially if they'll turn around and go back to the dude, right? Or if it's your significant other, you sitting here, they 5 deep, and somebody try your girl. Okay, let's be real. 1 against 5 dudes. Sometimes you just got to walk away, and a lot of women will sit here and try you. Well,
Yeah, she went in deep and it got cut
Yes.
off. Yeah, I couldn't find the original video, but she was about to go real deep with it. But I
Yeah.
think she made a valid point about how sisters got to be very mindful about their men. Their men can be out here protecting you, but sometimes you run off at the mouth too much that ends up cashing the check your man's ass won't be able to cover. And
Hmm.
that's putting your man in danger. So
That's right.
understand how to, maneuver with your man when you're out in public. You guys get together and give code words or also give, different moves that you guys make or, signals or whatever the case may be to try to help you get up out of situations that you guys
Right.
might end up being in due to, your woman um, being in that situation. So it's more of a safety thing than anything. I did want to bring that up. And
Hmm.
you guys could touch on it before I bring up the queen check of the night if you want.
Man, look, I could, we could dedicate a whole, shoot, we could dedicate almost a whole month to
Mhm.
just talking about proxy violence because that's what that's referred to as proxy violence when you have
Yeah.
somebody else who either causes or is somewhat responsible for violence, but they end up getting other people into it pretty much. Typically, it
Hmm.
applies to women when they discuss that. I really wish that we could get to a point where, and it'll be very difficult to do even if people wanted to, but
Mhm.
I really wish there was a way that they could actually quantify and record data of proxy violence like they do with all the other charts because I am firmly convinced there's now I can't prove it unfortunately, but just based on the things that I've seen, heard, the stories I've heard from other people and things I've seen, I'm without a shadow of a doubt, I'm convinced I would put solid money on the idea that if you were to qualify that information, the violent crime rates for women would be probably surpass those of men.
Mhm.
Hmm.
There are so many dudes right now that are in prison or in the grave or injured or who suffered severe setbacks on account of rolling to a woman's aid, whether it's justified or otherwise, and they've gotten handicapped, whatever. Somebody got injured, somebody didn't make it, or
Yeah,
both
Yeah.
dudes got locked up or whatever.
correct.
I myself have not. I myself have been involved in incidents involving proxy violence where because I'm trying to help out things went south for me. I've had moments where I've nearly been arrested because I came to somebody's aid
Hmm.
Mhm.
and it blew up in my face.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
happened to me on two different occasions. One time I just got in a fight, I had to lay somebody out. Another time, I'm thinking they're gonna press charges. I'm sticking around trying, have their back and give my statement. Next thing I know, some silver bracelets coming from my wrist. Like, what the hell is this about?
Hmm.
So I've been there, so I know that personally, but I've also seen other situations like that.
Mhm.
There's so many cases like that.
Yeah.
And women don't understand if you have a man or you have men because we hear this argument about how men don't protect women or we hear black men don't protect black women. We hear
Hmm.
that, but you do not understand. If you are being protected by a man, whether he's your husband, your boyfriend, your father, your uncle, your brother, your cousin, friend, neighbor, whoever, you have a responsibility to your protector. I had the opportunity. I couldn't say I knew him like that, but I was blessed to have the privilege of bumping into I can't remember his last name, but Lavelle, and you know him, Major. Shout out to brother Lavelle, Superman, wonderful
Mm-hmm.
brother, big, man, big as hell, built like a Marvel superhero, but he really had a beautiful heart. I was teaching at a school, and I met him there. He came in for a career day, and so I was taking my class. I rotated with different classes. They had the guests stationary in one room, and we just brought the class around talking to different people. And we
Mm-hmm.
bump into this brother, and he's sharing, his life. He's a bodyguard,
Yeah.
a professional protection service provider, and that was probably, from being a kid to being an adult, that was probably hands down the coolest career day position I've ever experienced. That was awesome. He's talking about, the things he done, and he had done bodyguard work for all kind of people, all kind of celebrities and high profile people.
Yeah.
And I was probably asking just as many questions the kids were, to be honest with you. But even
Mm-hmm.
afterwards, that was the last one that my group had. So me and the brother stayed behind about like 20, 30 minutes. We just rapping, just talking, real cool brother.
Yeah.
And I'm listening because he's got a lot of life experience. He's done a lot, seen a lot. So I want to gain from this man. I want to learn from him.
Yeah.
And one of the things that he told me was that he and other people who are in the line of work, because obviously you're a bodyguard, you're not just security, but you're actually moving with this person, you're escorting different people. Usually these are people who aren't just famous, but they're usually wealthy or they have threats against their life. So you need to be ready to protect this person. You need to be willing to
Right.
take a life. You need to have skills to do this. So this brother's been in some situations. And he was telling me one of the things that happens in this line of work is when you have these contracts with these people, yes, it is your responsibility to protect this person, but there are certain limitations, there's certain guidelines that have to go down. If I'm tasked with protecting you, what I say goes. If I'm saying, okay, you need to go to this event or whatever, I'm saying, you know what, this isn't wise, or we need to go this way, and you insist on doing it a different way, I either have the authority to charge you additional money because now I'm taking on more risk, or I
Mm-hmm.
have the right to terminate the contract altogether because I'm determining that this is not worth it.
Mm.
That the nature
Mm.
of this is too dangerous. You need to call somebody else who's willing to go and take on these added risks. I'm not doing it for you. Yes, it is my job to put my life on the line to protect you, but it's not to throw my life away. I'm not some expendable, pawn on a chessboard.
Mm.
Mm.
So you saying, even though it is my job to face danger head on, it's not my job to be reckless or to be wasteful with my life. I'm trying to save your life, but the
There you
goal
go.
is for all of us to leave here in one piece. If
Correct.
you
Mm-hmm.
have a man who is willing to, and I need women to get this through their heads, this is vital. When you have someone who is willing to protect you, to put their life in jeopardy on the line for you, that
Mm.
is a privilege. That's not a right. You're not entitled to that.
Right.
That man has friends, family, loved ones, might have a spouse, might have children. He has people who love him, depend on him, and need him in their lives. If this man is gonna willing to go out here and put his life on the line for you, you better respect that and make sure you ain't bringing him no bullshit.
Mm.
Don't be lying about such and such raped me or such and such robbed me or whatever because you in your feelings know you can't go head to head with this person, but you want to get this
Mm-hmm.
person. Don't do that.
Mm.
That is a severe sin.
It is.
You are risking this person's life, their freedom, just to satisfy your ego or because you feel you have a God given right to have an attitude or pop off or be reckless or whatever. Nah. If that's how you feel, go handle your own dirt, handle your own business. Get in on how you live. But don't be enlisting people to go ahead and be suckers for that.
Mm.
I still remember you had that those two brothers up in I think it was Ohio or something. Some
Mm.
woman and her daughter went to I think it was a Walmart or someplace, and they were walking out or whatever, or they got suspected of stealing something, and the brother there at the damn store said, "Hey, I need to see a receipt," and she refused and wanted to get in a whole altercation with him, or whatever. And he said and threatened him, "I'm gonna go and get my husband to come and handle you." And she went home and lied told all kind of tall tales about what happened to her
Yeah.
to her husband, and I
Mm.
think it was I don't know if
Her
that was
husband
his son
got
or her
killed.
son because it wasn't an entire family, it was a blended family, whatever. But told
Hmm.
him they came back to the store, and I think they killed that brother.
Yeah, they killed the security guard. Yeah, it was
They
a.
killed
I
the
think it
security
was a
guard,
Dollar General. I think it was a
Dollar
Dollar
General, yeah,
General.
yeah,
Yeah,
Hmm.
Dollar
yeah,
General went
yeah.
and lied on that man to
Hmm.
her family members. They came, killed him. Now that's three, technically four lives ruined because this brother's dead. These two men in prison, and this young girl, she's missing her sister, she's missing her father. Whole family destroyed. Two families destroyed because of your ego.
Correct.
Right.
Because he can't talk to me that way now. You know you can't put hands on him, but you can get someone who can.
Hmm.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
foul.
Yeah.
Same
That is
story at the
foul.
bodega in New York.
And I hope you get what you deserve for that
Mhm.
nonsense. Those of you who do that, because
Yeah.
that's so low. Women
Yeah.
need protection out here. You abusing it. Don't do that. Your protectors
Mhm.
have responsibility to you, but you have an obligation to protect us. To anyone that is willing to risk their life for you, you owe them something too. You owe them to not be wasting their life in vain like that. Don't do that.
Correct.
Yeah. I've
Correct.
seen that story a lot. Same thing happened at the bodega in New York. Remember that the
Yeah,
lady went, she got a dude, he came back, and then the
all them
store clerk
boys came out
ended up
and
killing
killed that dude.
the guy. The store clerk ended up killing the guy that time. But still, it's the
Yeah,
same bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
it
Like, because
happens
there was
all
an
the time, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
episode. Yeah, man.
And the
Yeah.
worst part of it is the women get to skate off into the sunset. Nothing happens to them. They
That's
only
Mm-hmm.
recognize the dudes involved. The women get to go off and live their lives. It's
mhm. Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's what they wanted Will Smith. That's why you have all these misguided women out here talking about protect black women when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock.
Okay,
They're talking about protect black women. That's not
I had issue
protect.
with that too.
That's not
Yeah.
protecting black women. He wasn't protecting nobody but his ego. That's the only
Yeah.
thing. The only thing Will Smith was
Thank you.
protecting was his ego. That was not about protecting her. You
Yeah.
No,
understand what I'm saying? But
two
to
other
speak,
two other
he's
people that night cracked jokes on Jada, and it was Kiki Kiki Kiki. A woman cracked jokes on her. Kiki
because
Kiki. A trans woman cracked jokes on her. Kiki Kiki. Chris Rock, only heterosexual black male, said something. Now we need to.
right.
Yeah.
If we're going to keep that same energy, somebody else cracked a joke about her and the boyfriend. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Regina Hall actually cracked a joke about her and the
Yeah,
boyfriend. So these
that's
same women
right.
all this shit about protect black women. Well, this black woman said to this she attacked this black woman too because she made a joke, not only a joke, but a joke about the boyfriend, and it was right for
Same
Will
night.
Smith to slap Chris Rock, right? So by your logic, it would have been right for him to slap Regina Hall too.
Mm.
No wonder he
Okay,
felt so comfortable cracking that joke. Someone else went ahead and
I'm
they went on the
saying,
broken glass. Well, why can't I too? And oh,
you know,
Selective outrage.
it's selective outrage. This joke was mild compared to the joke that was made earlier. You understand what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
by these twisted, demented people's logic, okay, so it would have been okay for Will Smith to slap Regina Hall too. Oh, well, no, you can't do that. Oh, now you want to have a whole other set of rules. You
what
understand what I'm
happened to her honor?
right? See, let's just keep it a buck, and this is why I detest Will Smith, and I'll never support anything he does for the rest of his life because at the end of the day, like Chris Rock said in his routine, it wasn't even, and I'll take it a step further than that because Chris Rock is like, oh, he hit somebody he knew he could beat. That's true. If Dwayne Johnson is up there making that comment, he ain't rolling up there doing that. You understand? Or anybody else that we know would have knocked the shit out of him. He ain't gonna go up there and do that. You understand? But even worse for me, that okay, it's somebody he knows he can beat. Chris Rock is what 5'6", 150 pounds. You know what I'm saying? He knows it's no challenge. Even worse than that, he knows that this is a black man who is not protected by the system. Okay,
Mm.
that's the real reason you hit him. It could have been a little scrawny white dude, little scrawny old Jewish guy. It could have been Jerry Seinfeld. You think he's going to go up there and hit Jerry Seinfeld?
Oh no,
That's what makes him the ultimate bitch to me. The fact that you're going to go and take advantage of the fact that this black man like you is not protected and you're going to attack him. That was despicable. That's the worst thing about that whole shit to me. But back to your point, Aunt, you know, ladies, you know, you can't be out here putting your guy in danger. Period. What Bobby said is so true. Someone who's willing to lay down their life for you, you have a responsibility as a human being to have integrity enough to not call this person, you know, to do anything unless something really needs to be done. You know what I'm saying? Jada Pinkett Smith was under no threat. There was no need to protect her. Were you protecting her from Chris Rock's jokes? Fuck out of here. What are you talking about? You understand what I'm saying? There's no imminent danger that she needs protection from. Now, if somebody was coming at her and he got up and knocked the hell out of him, okay, yeah, he was supposed to do that. He handled his business. That's protecting your woman. You understand what I'm saying? That's protecting a woman. But, you know, someone says something lighthearted, whatever, and you get up and jump out the window, you know what I'm saying? And just more broadly speaking, it's funny you should mention Lavelle. Lavelle actually got me out of some shit back in the days. Like, I was in the club.
That brother, man. Rest in peace, man.
Brother Lavelle, R.I.P. to our brother. I was in that same club. You understand? I met Lavelle on the set of Miami Vice a long time ago, and from then, every time I see him, we just, you know, we just click. I ran into him at the club. I was about to get into it over a female. It was over a woman, you know, and some other guy was just being disrespectful, whatever the case may be. And so, you know, me being the man I am, like, you know, I'm in his face. I'm going at him. I'm jawing with him, and we close. We about it's getting tense. And Lowell, not Lowell, god damn it. Lavelle comes up and he give me like one of them big hugs. Oh, what's up, man? What's up? Hey, let me holler at you for a minute, whatever. And he just got in the middle of it, broke it entirely. You know how big this dude is, a big old mountainous dude. Cool. And he came up, he gave me one of them hugs. What's up, bro? Hey, check this out. Let me holler at you for a minute. He pulled me over to the side. Hey, man, you know I fuck with you heavy, da. Hey, you know that dude is a cop, right? Like, oh shit. Like, yo. So, but again, the female who was there, she wasn't trying to break up anything. She kind of felt like you could see that her energy was like, oh, these two men finna fight over me. I'm the it chick. You understand what I'm saying? And to his credit, shout out to my brother, love him to life. He came over there, he broke that thing up. He went and talked to after that, he went and talked to the cop. Hey man, you know, that's my people right there. You know, hey, that chick, and he told me the chick that I was there with, because he knew her, you know, he in the club, you know, whatever. Like, she ain't worth it anyway, man. You gotta think, you know what I'm saying? Like, even still, you know, you walk away from anything over her, she ain't worth it. I was like, wow, okay, he just dropped the gem on me, because that was real, you know what I'm saying? And then me and the cop dude actually end up becoming friends because of Lavelle. You understand what I'm saying? He actually introduced us. Hey, y'all don't need to be beefing, especially not over her raggedy ass. You know what I'm saying? So, brothers, like, if you're going to do it, you're going to risk life and limb to protect your lady. It needs to be your lady. You know what I'm saying? And it needs to be worth it. And you need to assess the situation and make that determination. You can stand up for somebody without risking life and limb necessarily. You understand what I'm saying? Even the Chris Rock, Will Smith situation. Chris Rock, Will Smith, if he really felt the way, he could have stepped to Chris Rock. He could have checked Chris Rock. He didn't have to go up there and hit him and make a goddamn fool of himself and destroy his career. You know what I'm saying? Or his legacy, at least. You understand? He didn't have to do that. He'd have to jump out the window. You can still, within the confines of doing something that is intellectually sound, you know, but still, you know, okay, address a situation. You don't have to necessarily jump out the window. You know what I'm saying? Brothers need to understand that. Sisters need to understand. You don't need to be alerting this dude. Like Chris Rock said, you don't need to be in the emergency room if you got paper cuts. You know what I'm saying? If it ain't that serious, let it ride, deal with it another way. There are a series of ways that we can deal with and respond to situations that we're in. And they don't all involve violence. They don't all even involve being rude and disrespectful. Sometimes it's as simple as just, a few words, and a stern warning sometimes. You understand what I'm saying? I had to learn this because I'll be the first one to swing on somebody. You understand? Back in the day, everybody's talking and they getting together. Oh, we gonna go do this. But by the time y'all finish having that, by the time that sentence is over, I done hit somebody. And it got real for me when I was in the back of a police car again over, some BS that escalated over a woman, right? In the back of a police car with some handcuffs on.
No, the common theme here.
I actually was. Remember, you say you almost got into the situation. I was in the situation. I did hit somebody, and it got their nose is broken, all this type of BS, whatever. And I know your mama. Go. Cop came. Well, I know your mama. Go now before somebody.
Shout out to mom.
Before other cars get here. Oh, I don't know what happened to him. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It got real for me. Then I'm like, okay, I gotta start doing this dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not, especially again over this low quality female that should have meant absolutely nothing to me. I'm looking at it today. I should have never even called up. You understand what I'm saying? But hindsight is 2020, right? But I've actually been in the back of the police car. Boy, I know your mama. Go home. Go home before somebody comes. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what the brothers are telling you is spot on. Sometimes, unfortunately, brothers, females will put you in a position, and it's usually, it's not even usually, it's always the low quality females that's gonna put you in some stupid shit. A lot of times they out here, they trying to juggle dudes. Let's keep it a buck. You understand what I'm saying? And then you got that one simp dude, he gonna get angry because he think that she's his and she for the streets. Let's call it what it is. You know what I'm saying? I don't advocate dealing with them type of females at all, but if you're going to deal with them, no going in, she for the streets, and treat her as such. You understand what I'm saying? Otherwise, you could
don't go full Kanye now.
Real talk. You could end up getting hurt really bad, or put in jail or killed over some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Don't do it. We've been there. Go ahead, man. I'm up there. Man.
Nah, it's very important that you said what you said. You laid it thick for us, going out tonight, to end off the segment, to get into Queen Check. It's something that is very serious. You're saving lives, and not destroying families in the process. And that's very, very important, especially within our community, because we have too much ignorance that leads to death on a wide scale. So we got to cut that down. And that's one of the ways to cut that nonsense down. Now, that being said, Queen Check of the Night, definitely, y'all know Queen Check of the Night is where we honor a sister that's been doing something so superb for our community and our race of people. You know what I'm saying? So our crown check of the night is Voodoo. Ida B. Wells, right? Ida B. Wells is a rider. When I tell you she's a rider, she is a phenomenal rider. Ida B. Wells, July 16th, 1862 to March 25th, 1931, was an American investigative journalist, educator, and early leader in the civil rights movement. She was one of the founders of the National Association of the Advancement of Colored People, which you know as NAACP. Wells dedicated her life to combating prejudice and violence, the fight for African American equality, especially that of a woman, and becoming arguably the most famous Black woman in the United States of her time. And what makes her so powerful is the fact that Ida B. Wells, she was very unapologetic. She didn't take shit from nobody. This was a very wealthy woman. She was one of the first premier wealthy Black women in the America at that time. And with her wealth, a lot of people didn't know that she, if you guys remember 1804,
Mm-hmm.
1804 was basically um oh gosh, I forgot what it oh I forgot what I was about to say, but it was said to believe that she was behind funding a lot of abolitionists that did some good work for Black people in the long run, right?
Okay.
So also, she was also on a train. There was a story about her being on a train, and back then, it was very prejudiced. So Black people had to ride in the back of the train, and riding
Yeah.
in the back of the train was pretty much where all the smoke was coming. It was low grade, everything like that. But she was a woman of caliber. She had much money. She had more money than a lot of whites. So she was riding in the front of the train, and the conductor, or I would say the train, I don't know what you call those guys that come in and the general guy who checks the train and go through with the train and making sure you're in your right seat.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, yeah, the
Yeah. So yeah, so when you have that guy came up to her and was telling her to sit in the back, and she was like, "No, I paid my money to sit up front, and this is where I'm gonna sit." And it went into an altercation where it popped off, and she almost drew her gun and blasted dude.
There you
And
go.
before it even got to that level, they had to come, and then both parties pretty much had to resolve it. She was able to sit in the front, and I think she went and tried to sue on that level. I can't remember the exact details of what went down, but Sister was a rider. Sister really had no she really had no there was no cowardness in this sister. She was all about business, and she was all about Black people and fighting for Black people.
Right.
It got to the point where, she drew shotguns. She was very good with the shotgun. I have a shirt coming out called that has Ida B. Wells, and it's a dope shirt. I created it like 4 years ago, but I never dropped it yet. But I will be dropping it soon for all my sisters out there. Reason why I brought Ida B. Wells up is because I want a lot of sisters to go out there. During this time, we have training that we need from our sisters to go out there and get weapons training to protect yourself. There's a lot of things that's heading this way, and sisters, y'all need protection. And a lot of protection is not going to come from us because we can't be around you 24/7. You got human trafficking and a lot of stuff like that, kidnapping and going on down in heavily in Florida and Texas. So if you live in those areas, especially, you need to go and get your weapon and weapon training and protect yourself in the long run. And I want to say one more thing about Ida B. Wells, and this right here is so profound. Wells explained that the defense of white women's honor allowed Southern white men to get away with murder by projecting their own history of sexual violence onto Black men. Her call for all races and genders to be accountable for their actions showed African American women that they can speak out and fight for their rights. According to some, by portraying the horrors of lynching, she worked to show that racial and gender discrimination can be linked, furthering the Black feminist cause. And Sister was out here just doing her thing for her peoples, and definitely want to give a shout out to Ida B. Wells for doing such a great thing. And that's this week's Crown Check. You guys want to say anything about Ida B. Wells before we get out of here? Y'all hear me?
Yeah. Special shout out to the
Yeah.
sister picked up rider. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, we can hear you.
yeah,
You hear me?
I'm clear.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep,
Loud and clear.
gotcha.
Good.
Yeah, Ida B. Wells,
Yeah,
man. That's
that
our Queen
rider,
Check of the Night. So
rider.
definitely
Mm-hmm.
ride with Ida B. Wells. So that's this week's show for this week. We definitely hope you guys enjoyed it. Also, we have a very special show for y'all next week. It's
Oh,
gonna be something that you guys really want to tune into because we have to tackle some subjects that are very touchy, but it's a
mm-hmm.
must as men for us to get the correct narrative out there that needs to be displayed, and stick up for our community because we can't allow people to switch narratives or project a certain belief or ideology upon us without us giving pushback against it. That's our job as men. We have done it before back in the days. We have lost sight of that type of leadership, and we're definitely going to talk about that next week with our topic. And you guys stick tuned. You guys will see what we're talking about. So be prepared for next week to be a very um, real, touchy subject next week, but it's something that we have to do. So it's a trigger warning for anybody that's watching now to watch next week. We're warning you now before you guys enter next week, just giving you a clear heads up of what we're going to be talking about next week. So with that being said, I'm all out. You guys want to give y'all peace before we go?
Man, shout out to Sister Ida B. Wells, man. You picked a rider among riders for this one, man. Like, I don't know if
Definitely.
you get more on code and more pro-black than Sister Ida B. Wells, and I would like to just shout out the conscious sisters in general and the
Mm,
natural sisters in general. There's this whole weird thing going on out here where you got some of these cosmetically enhanced women going out attacking natural sisters. I
mm,
don't know what that's about, but that's gonna stop. We're not gonna have that. You understand what I'm saying? And
right.
the conscious sisters more broadly, shout out to y'all, because think of what the opposite of conscious is: asleep. You
Mm,
understand what I'm saying? And you got a lot of sisters out here uh, that they scoff at and they ridicule conscious sisters. And the conscious sister is where it's at. That's the type of woman that you want raising your family. That's the type of woman that you want to build a legacy with. Um, and I'm just speaking to this, as we just did the queen check. Those are the type of sisters that are worthy. Those are the type of sisters that you should be protecting. You should be providing for. You should make these type of individuals your life partner. Someone who is proud to wear the label of someone conscious. I know some conscious people, can seem, a bit pretentious, and some of them, some of the people we call conscious seem a bit pretentious, and they're not really conscious, but really decent conscious sisters with class. You
mm,
know what I'm saying? I want to really shout y'all out because unfortunately it's becoming rare that we see y'all, and you have other women attacking you. You know what I mean? I don't know what that's about, but the conscious sisters, we appreciate you. We see you. We love you. God bless you. And just to the conscious community and brothers and sisters who are well-meaning brothers and sisters out here that are just doing the right thing, holding other people accountable, living your life on the straight and narrow, taking accountability for things, improving yourselves and bringing yourselves and your community to a higher level of consciousness. Broadly speaking, across the board, regardless of gender,
mm,
we value you and we need you and we appreciate you and we need y'all to stay the course because so many people are giving up and doing what's easy. You
mm.
understand what I'm saying? And selling their own people out. We need y'all to stand in the paint and fight these battles. That's
Well
it for me.
said. Well
Yeah.
said. Drake?
Um, Salute to Ida. She was definitely a legendary woman. Definitely a one who really set the pace for her time. She did so much. She was so active, and as is normally the case with people who are really in the trenches, we probably only know a percentage of what she really did and how she really got down. I'm sure that there's a lot more stories of how rumors and stuff of how she was out there effective and really working to improve not just conditions for women but also for her people as well. Uh,
Right.
Definitely broke them over. They made her grateful to grateful that she was here for the time that she was. I'm glad that she got to live a relatively long life. I think she checked out around just shy of 70 years. I'm glad she wasn't one of those folks who had a much shorter lifespan. I'm glad she got to reach her later years. Definitely deserved it. Um, As far as the theme of the evening has been accountability,
Hmm.
uh, really want you to understand that it's not a curse word. It's not profanity. Accountability is a word of challenge.
Hmm.
Accountability is a weighty word. There's a lot of things that come with that. There's a lot of responsibility that comes with it,
Hmm.
and it's not easy. Accountability is tough. Accountability is difficult, and yeah, accountability can be scary. Um, Accountability can result in you having to confront some things that you've been running from, that you've been hiding from. There might be some trauma. There might be some unresolved pain and hurt that hasn't been dealt with that you're going to have to confront. But what I can promise you, and I can make this promise, is if you trust the process, you do the work, the due diligence, and you accept accountability for your life, you hold yourself accountable, you reach out to people you trust and ask them to hold you accountable as well, and you hold others accountable, you're going to start to seeing a much better quality of life overall for you. You're going to see things run a lot better for you. You're going to get positive results more times than not. You're going to see people start dealing with you in better ways. You're going to start seeing because things don't happen in compartments. We live a whole life. We don't live life in bits and pieces. You're
Hmm.
going to start seeing as you become more accountable in your life and hold yourself accountable and ask others to hold you accountable. You're going to start seeing that certain dead weight in your life, human and otherwise, they're going to start falling off. And as that falls off, it's going to make space for better quality people and experiences and opportunities to come your way as well. But clean, hygienic people don't come with this mess. So if you got mess in your life, you can't expect people who are clean and orderly to come in there as well too. Once the mess is gone, that's when you're going to invite those people to say, you know what, this is someone who's not on BS. This is someone who's solid. I like this person. This is someone I want to be around and be acquainted with. So if you don't like where your life is, if you don't like how things currently are, might be gut check time. Start holding yourself accountable. Start going on the deep stuff, not the superficial stuff, to get deep up in and roll your sleeves up and get to a better life that is waiting for you. And there's people out there who are willing to help you and who are willing to be a part of that process in your life. Welcome them in. Don't push them away. Let them go in there and do the work with you as well. Because we're all in this together.
All right, that's what's up.
Real
Well
talk.
said. Well said. So we
Yeah.
appreciate y'all. See y'all next week. Be prepared because it's gonna be a great show. So
Let's
y'all
get it.
peace out. All right, peace.
All right. Yeah.
On the album, we do things like songs that are a little, what we call sexy. You can see from the title, it's more of a love album.